What's going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ.
What I'm Diggins.
Oh, yeah. This is mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
My goodness, what are we even doing here? Oh, some Gorge? I gorged on dinner last night.
Whoa, yeah. This week we're talking about the Gorge, the thing that, it's one of those Apple. Well, no, it's not. You know what? It's a direct-to-VOD movie, but it's not about spies being, an action comedy. So it's
That's true.
But it is tearing up the charts at Apple or something. So we got to talk about it. Everybody's like, what about Gorge? So we're going to do some Gorge stuff, guys. You excited for Gorge?
I'm so excited for Gorge.
I'm engorged about the prospect.
Yeah, very good. And speaking of engorged, well, no.
You got this.
Shrek isn't a big eater, is he? Like, not as big as you would expect for a character like Shrek. I feel like he eats like a normal amount of food.
I feel like there's maybe like one or two scenes where he's like nom 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 nom, but it's not like a big part of his character.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, speaking of that, then, let's talk about the news of the week this week, you guys. Shrek is back in negative whatever, 8 or not 18. Well, no, it's a while. It's even more than 18 months.
Yeah,
you see when this comes out?
Christmas. So it's like 22 months.
Yeah. What's going on with that? Like, I feel like we got that trailer for one a year before the movie came out. We're getting this one a year and like almost 2 years before the movie comes out. Should they put out some trailers for other movies like that? How far in advance can they even put a trailer out? Like,
maybe they ran out.
Other movies like this, like,
did anyone check? Did we get them all?
That's true, especially now that Love Hurts is out, which is one of the trailers I've seen a lot of times.
That's true.
They can't use
Novocaine, that's
anymore.
coming out, right? Yes.
Yep.
2 weeks.
But Shrek.
I think what must have happened, Nando, is that whatever company owns DreamWorks, I don't even know anymore.
Nestle. No, just kidding. Maybe. You never know.
Universal?
The Shineheart Wig Company.
Yeah, I think it is the Shineheart Wig Company, actually. Yeah, Universal Pictures, division of NBC Universal, which itself is a subsidiary of Comcast. Okay, there we go. So Comcast.
They were looking at the charts and figures, and they were like, the number didn't go up enough this quarter. Let's put out a thing everyone will be very excited about, so the number goes up.
Yeah, it really is. Honestly, looking at the DreamWorks animation wiki right now, the first paragraph of talking about like ants and the first one, it has, and then upcoming movies: How to Train Your Dragon, Bad Guys 2, Gabby's Dollhouse movie, not sure what that is, and Shrek 5. So they put it right into the wiki as quickly as possible.
Listen, those wiki people are extremely fast. They're
really
always
are
on top of this sort of thing.
They're the best. And speaking fast, there was a really fast trailer for Shrek, you guys. Minute, maybe a little bit more. Mostly just titles, but yeah. What did you guys think? We saw Shrek again. He's back, baby.
Yeah,
Mike Myers, big old guy,
and Eddie Murphy's there, and Cameron Diaz. All of our favorites from the old movies, including Who to Our Wandering Eye Should Appear.
Who to Our Wandering Eye Should Appear?
I think DJ should tell us.
Yeah, who's our new Shrek family member?
Oh, it's so obvious. It's Shrek's cousin, who, get this, guys, he's a shark. It's Shark, Shrek's cousin Shark.
Whoa.
He should be
Shark from Shark Tale?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's Shrek's cousin, yeah. So now we're getting to the full DreamWorks cinematic universe.
Yo, honestly, it's like that stupid intro where they go through circles and it's all the different shows.
Yeah.
So, Lenny, excuse me, I was wrong. Okay. It could be Lenny.
Yeah, so Lenny is Shrek's cousin Shark, and now he's part of the Shrek universe of monsters or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You know
I
what?
know,
I'm
right?
glad they told us that early because now we can speculate about what that could possibly be like.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Captain America. There's no point in reveals anymore. We just show everything in the trailer, and then you're just kind of going the movie to see all the middle bits and how they, fit in together.
Ooh. Do you think the leader's going to be in this one?
Maybe. He's
or
green.
like Farquaad with a big goopy head or something when he's not busy doing Harry Potter or whatever he's up to.
It turns out
Conclave
that
2.
In the first Shrek, Farquaad got some Shrek blood on him, and it's mutated him into an ogre man.
Yeah. That would be pretty good.
So now he has the power of like super farts or whatever.
And he's the main villain again. So we're going back to original, but then this is going to be a huge thing that spoilers for upcoming Shrek movie. Toothless is going to come in.
Oh my god.
And he's going to steal the dragon from Donkey, and then like they're going to go like off together.
Toothless is Mr. Steal Your Girl?
Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Is it going to be human real world Toothless or cartoon Toothless?
I think we
both?
Start with
Great
cartoon, and then maybe maybe human and cartoon Toothless fight. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that being the post-credit scene. It's like a portal opens and human pickup comes to Toothless, and Toothless makes the face like, and then that's the end.
And they're like, this looks exactly the same. There's no difference. Wow. It's so cool.
No, wait. The post-credit scene of this has to be like the Iron Man 1 post-credit scene, but instead of Nick Fury, it's Boss Baby recruiting Shrek for some sort of DreamWorks initiative or something. Because Boss Baby is also part of this. And easily the one I care the most about now. I've only watched one Boss Baby movie, but I remember it.
We can't pull
one. The first one.
The one.
It would have been really funny if you were like number 3.
Yeah. Honestly, I know they made a second one, and then I know there's a TV show. I don't even know if the third one exists, but I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, the second one has Sister. Yeah, the second one is Family Business. Yeah, I don't think they made a third one yet. But, you gotta maybe put out a trailer for that, even if you haven't figured it out. Just look at them, and then a new baby appears, and it's Zendaya, and she pops her head up and goes, she'd be great in it.
She's got to be in all of these now. That's the rule.
Yeah, what do we think? So, okay, first, all right, 3 questions about this trailer. 1, Zendaya's in it. How do we feel about that? She plays Shrek daughter, the Schroeder 1.
I don't know. I mean, I don't really feel anything about it, if I'm being honest.
Wow. Cool. What about you, DJ? What of Zendaya's movies? What kind of Zendaya do we think we're gonna get here? Are we gonna get a Dune Zendaya? Are we gonna get the one from Spider-Man?
Yeah. I think we're gonna get a Challenger Zendaya. She's gonna have a threesome.
Oh, who's the threesome gonna be?
It's gonna be her and 2 of the 3 little pigs.
Oh shit! That
are they all properly aged? I don't want to assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were adult, like if properly aged in the sense that they're going to be consenting adults because they already were in Shrek 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
they would be by now. As long as they were alive in Shrek 1, they are in their 20s at least.
Yeah.
Honestly, we're not sure if she's a consenting adult, like she, But
yeah, how long is it? Well, they were born in Shrek 4.
Shrek 3.
So, no, I think Shrek 3, she tells him she is pregnant, but I don't think they exist until Shrek 4.
I'm pretty sure they're born at the end of it, but I'm not positive, and now I'm questioning it.
How long has it been since Shrek 3 and Shrek 4?
I think Shrek 3 was 2006 or 7. So only 10 years. Look at that. Wow. Time
Since
flies.
Shrek 4?
No, Shrek 3 is 2007. So yeah. So just 10 years ago. Incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
we are relevant.
How long ago that was.
Yep. I think I don't remember. I know they made like a little cartoon too that was like a mini. Remember that? There was like a thing between them, between the Shreks, where it was like Shrek and his kids at home being all, oh my god, I got too many kids.
I remember the first Shrek movie. and that's about it. Anything that happened
What?
after, I couldn't vaguely tell you the plot of Shrek 2. I couldn't even wager a guess.
Not even the parts with Puss in Boots.
Yeah,
Barely. Like
not
barely.
even the parts with the one song that everyone loves.
Yeah, Holding Out for a Hero.
Yeah,
That was oh wow, that's cool.
that's Shrek 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Shrek 2 is the good one, like the better of the. Most people say, the best
Do
of
they?
the trilogies or quadrilogy or whatever. Yeah,
Well, they say
I
the
think
second
it's
one's always
fair.
the best one, right? Empire Strikes Back, that's
Mhm.
it. That's the list.
Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
Other movies that have a 2.
Whatever the
what's
second
another?
Twilight is, Eclipse. I don't know.
Eclipse. Yep. Conclave, which obviously is a sequel to The Young Pope because now he's old in it. I haven't seen The Young Pope. I'm assuming it takes place 100 years in the past or something. No. It's Conclave is a sequel to Pope's Exorcist, probably.
There you go.
I feel like the ages of
There
the
you
Pope
go.
probably line up. You guys excited for Pope's Exorcist to win some sort of award? Sneak in just at the last second,
I hope so.
like you're
Yeah.
wrong.
Come in from the
Pretty cool.
Who's that? Who's that's music? Oh God!
When they
It's
announce at the
Father
end of the night-
Amorte's music, and then and comes in with his little Vespa. Beep 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 beep.
It'd be
It's
really
cool.
impressive if if Pope's Exorcist wins, considering it's a 2023 movie.
It's that good. They're finally going to rectify one mistake that they've ever made and give the Pope's Exorcist to Best Picture this year.
He heads over to the Emilia Perez table and goes, "I smell a demon here. There's evil here."
Yeah, but then it like it's revealed that he's talking about how because the actress is trans and he's
No!
Catholic, and it gets really awkward for everybody.
No. Well, let's be honest. That actor whose name I'm sorry I don't remember, but Society told me I didn't have to. Is not been at any of the award shows.
No.
Certainly will
They're
not.
going
be
to this one.
Wait, for real?
I think they're at the Oscars. Oh yeah. I mean,
shit.
This is going to release after the Oscars,
She's
but I'm pretty
nominated.
sure they made it.
But
Did they
same
not?
for SAG, and wasn't it SAG?
I think Netflix has paid for her to go or something like that. Like I think we know that they're planning to send her to the Oscars.
But that's wild that she wouldn't be at SAG, the award show that they aired on Netflix. But like, all right, go to the Oscars. I guess it is the bigger one.
Netflix doesn't want her tanking their ratings. but
Yeah.
Oh,
Oscars doesn't air on
pretty
Netflix,
good.
so doesn't
That's pretty
matter.
good. Yeah.
True.
I mean, did you guys watch the SAG After Awards?
I watched who's the host?
Kristen Bell.
Is that the 80 Bryant?
No. It was
Oh,
Kristen
never mind. Then I didn't.
I didn't watch the whole
not
thing to
see
be
that.
very clear, but I wanted to watch some of the speeches because every speech that Kieran Culkin has given is like a weird ass speech. I heard the Chalamet speech was interesting. He might have compared himself to Michael Jordan, but it's not clear. But he might have.
I think he's the Michael Jordan of, Michael Jordan was in Space Jam, and I think, what's the best movie that Timothée Chalamet has made so far?
Wonka.
Yeah, Wonka's in the Space Jam. Like, it's not quite a Space Jam, but it's definitely better than Space Jam 2.
Okay.
So he's on his way.
Well,
That's true.
My point being is that they had the actress from Emilia Perez for best lead actress, and like I could not tell you how just like muted the applause was. Like maybe just the Emilia Perez table applauded, and even if it was like a nice little golf clap. I don't know if the mic's picking that up. It was a nice little golf clap, and that was it.
Nando,
Yeah,
how
they all
could you
just
forget?
mimed clapping like this.
How could you forget that Timothée Chalamet is in your favorite movie?
Oh man, what could this be? Pope's Exorcist?
No.
The Gorge?
No.
Oh,
Which
spoilers.
one? Which one?
Your favorite movie ever, Don't Look Up.
Oh my god, the movie that, has become quite relevant, you guys. Everybody, I forgot who was in that. Yeah, he's like the cashier at like the supermarket, right? Or something, who has
Yeah,
sex
he's
with
like-
Jennifer
he's-
Lawrence.
Yeah, he's like
Pretty
the
cool.
J-Law's love interest or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think Timothée Chalamet is great. I thought his speech was really funny. Did you see it, Diggins? Are you familiar with it?
No, I don't know.
So he had a whole speech, and it was like, he has an interesting energy, first of all, for one of these speeches, but it's not the Oscars, so I get it. Like, he's probably excited, but not psyched. but he's like talking about how he wants to be one of the greats, and he compares himself to the greats the same way that like Daniel Day-Lewis is like Michael Jordan. He wants to be up there, which I think is cool. It's weird because that part of the speech was punctuated like beginning and end with, and listen, this is a fine award, but this is not my favorite award I'm going to get. This is not the big one. I want the Oscar.
Yeah.
And that was weird.
Well, okay. So it's good that he said this after all the voting's closed. Because, like, you can't say that during a campaign. But, like, well, the voting's all done. So, I mean, if he wins, it's like, it's crazy. But, like, I bet everyone, all those snobby actors who voted for him are fucking pissed. Or Academy voters. They're all like, fuck that guy. That's not how we do this. We have rules.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, thank God that voting isn't open until like Saturday. That would be sick. I wonder if that could be a rule change. Like, could voting go all the way up until the day before the Oscars?
I think if
count it.
I know,
if
but
Emilia Perez wins, I think it might. I think they may extend that deadline.
That's a really good point. It's a really good point.
Also, he's in Little Women, which is great. I love Little Women. That movie is so good. Yeah.
It's
he's
crazy.
Great in that.
Fucking, that boy's only 28. It's fucking crazy.
I know.
He might be Michael Jordan. If he gets an Oscar at 28, he's Michael Jordan. Like, that's...
He wouldn't be the youngest person to ever get an Oscar.
No, but it's not that. It's that, like, he has such a backlog already. If he gets an Oscar by 28, like, yeah, he'll wind up by the time he's like 50, unless this is somehow the only one he wins, and then he'll be like the, I don't know, like the, oh man, this is horrible. Like the Hakeem Olajuwon of actors, maybe.
I understand that reference, definitely.
He won the basketball while Michael Jordan was in gambling prison. I'm sorry, brief retirement to play baseball.
Yeah. Space Jam.
Space Jam.
When he got sucked into the golf hole and then came into the Toon World.
Yeah.
Right, before the Looney Tunes inspired him to play basketball again.
Yes, he certainly was not in any kind of gambling prison for gambling too much while he played. That definitely isn't what happened.
Exactly. Correct. It was Space Jam stuff.
Yeah, he had to save the world from the nerdlucks.
Yes.
That's right. Speaking of Timothée Chalamet, he would be one of my answers to this. Who are the other two Shrek children going to be? Because they're obviously going to have 3 actors doing Shrek children. Who do you want in your, besides Zendaya?
Or who is it going to be?
Both, I guess. And consider they're both kind of boys, unless you count that the eye color is different or something. Have you seen this, by the way?
Right, that the Zendaya Shrek daughter might be trans.
Yeah, so let's assume they retcon that before the movie gets thrown in jail or something.
Oh no!
I mean, listen, it wouldn't be the most insane thing in the world. Is that a thing? Babies can change their eye color? Not like can change their eye color, but like
actually, most babies do. All babies are born with blue eyes, and they change. And for most people, they change as they get older. But
sometimes they don't.
Yeah, some people have blue eyes.
Yeah,
but everybody starts with blue eyes.
Right. That's because well, I'm not going to say it. No, I mean, that's maybe a cool like 2011 joke, but I'm not making that joke in 2025.
DJ was going to say his real opinion that it's the best eye color, along with certain hair and skin colors that he also thinks are the best.
We used to be able
green
to make fun
and
Nazi
redhead.
jokes, and now we can't because Nazis are back, and it's not funny anymore. But Nazis used to be funny, just like that whole gay Hitler thing on SNL. Right?
Yeah, that was almost maybe okay.
Yeah, we don't know. We're still not sure.
Yeah, what's the funny? I mean, like the producers, I guess, is the funniest Nazis.
I think so.
Yeah,
because that also has like Will Ferrell's character in the movie is a silly Nazi who's funny, and then in the movie they make fun of the Nazis. So that's pretty good. But yeah, what other Shrek daughters do you think it's going to be, or Shrek sons? Assuming it's 2 boys, and assuming the eye color they all kind of go to brown eyes by adulthood. What do you think?
I mean, who's it going to be? Timothée Chalamet and Tom Holland, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Okay. But who would you want it to be? Are there any kid actors that you think would be cool? Who do we like now?
Who's like,
Yeah, who's one who we like? Go.
One of the Stranger Kids guys, right? That's right.
They're like in their 30s now or whatever.
I don't know. It's relative. I don't know.
It has to be a boy, otherwise it would be one of the Madam Webs, but it can't be. Oh, or you know what? And I don't watch enough for Zendaya stuff. Maybe they're like funny guys from that show she's in that she's famous on.
Euphoria.
Euphoria. Yeah, that it would be funny if it was. I mean, it could be the other two Challenger boys. It could be both of them, and that would be insane.
Okay.
Josh O'Connor and Michael Feist.
Fine or Feist, yeah. He could, and then they could do like a little brotherly, peck on the cheek or something as she watches and approves or something. And I don't know.
And some people in the audience will get very excited.
Yeah, like Pinocchio. He'll probably love it. It's a fucking sick freak. He wears ladies' underwear. Remember that? That was a joke in one of the Shreks, right?
Yeah.
It was
Shrek
a big
2,
joke.
to be specific.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I don't know. I mean, like, Puss in Boots was great. This doesn't look as good as Puss in Boots 2.
I mean, it's only 15 seconds of footage, Nando. Let's not judge too hastily.
The frame rate doesn't shift a couple of times, and that's all I want. Do you think
there isn't a cat there?
Yeah, I imagine Puss will be back though, because he's sailing back to far, far away in the end of whatever the last one of those was. The Last
That's
Wish.
True.
Wow, Shrek. How much money do you think that movie's gonna make? Think it's gonna make $2 billion?
$1,000 billion.
Yeah, me too. I think it's gonna make an insane amount of money.
Just based off nostalgia.
Yeah. And like the Shrek movies are kind of good, maybe. Like they're kind of fun in a way that's like
Depends on the Shrek movie.
They dunk on Disney movies, and I feel like it's been long enough that it might be cool to have another one of those.
But like Disney movies kind of dunk on Disney movies now. It's like
it's true.
Maybe they'll dunk on that. Maybe
it'll just be like super sincere.
Yeah.
And like just fully embrace all fantasy tropes without making fun of them, and like that'll be the subversive thing now.
But every so often, Shrek looks at a big picture of Hunk Shrek or whatever and goes, "Oh, baby," because that's part of this one. Yeah, I don't know, but it's got all the guys. It's got Donkey. I love Eddie Murphy. He really is like one of the funniest people alive. So I can't not get at least a little excited for it.
And this is his greatest role ever, Donkey in Shrek.
Donkey, yeah, and then it's got
Donkey.
Cameron Diaz from Back in Action.
That's true.
Thank you, Netflix, for getting her back in action so that she could do this.
What do you think will be a better comeback for Cameron Diaz, Back in Action or this?
It's a good question. Back in Action was great because it had Glenn Close and with a gun. Has Glenn Close ever been in these? She doesn't do the voice of the fairy godmother, right? That's what's her name. It's Julie Andrews, yeah. And also I think she explodes or something. So
yeah, she dies in Shrek 2.
Oh wait, no, excuse me. Jennifer Saunders is the I'm looking at the thing now. Jennifer Saunders is the fairy godmother. Julie Andrews
is Fiona's mom.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be pretty cool. Pretty cool, you guys. Remember to put that in your fantasy movie league. That'll probably be $100, I bet, of the $100. Like,
that's true.
Whatever the max one of these can cost is, because yeah, that'd be pretty cool. But you guys, speaking of things that are pretty cool, The Gorge.
Oh, baby.
We gotta talk about The Gorge, the coolest movie.
We're gorging.
Yeah. And you know what? To be fair, Shrek doesn't live in a gorge. Obviously, he lives in a swamp. But Gorge-like, and looking at The Gorge, if without spoiling The Gorge, if we were to say in the movie The Gorge, find out what was in The Gorge, and it turned out to be the Shrekiverse, that'd be, I could see it.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I like it.
You know, it would have been quite a twist.
It would have been a cool twist. Yeah, I would have loved that. But, we'll have to see if that's what it is. Maybe that is what it is. And we're keeping it very secret for you, the listeners. But The Gorge this week came out. It stars the two people that are in it, plus some others, I guess. But mostly, what is it? Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy. It was on Apple TV Plus, and it is about a gorge. I don't know if is this based on a book or something, or some sort of.
That was my guess, but
I don't think so.
Feels like
it's just an original story.
Wow. And people complain that we don't have original stories in Hollywood anymore, and then they don't all watch The Gorge. So what are we gonna? This is why we just get more Shreks. They were like, we could invent a new version of Shrek to dunk on insincere Disney movies, but no one watched The Gorge. So instead, he looks at himself in the mirror, hunky Shrek, and goes, "Wow,
Immediately
look at me
makes you
twerk."
think.
Yeah.
Probably something to do with phones also.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Zendaya's gonna have what's it gonna be? It's gonna be a swamp phone.
Well, it's going to be like a compact mirror that has the magic mirror in it, right?
Oh, maybe. Well, I'm thinking like, what will it be called? Because what is like iPhone? Because that was one thing with all the Shrek movies. Everything was like a play on a thing or something where you were like, oh, this is like. Well, actually, were they? I don't remember.
Remember in Shrek 2 when there was a Starbucks on every corner?
I remember that, but it was Starbucks,
yeah.
right? It wasn't like
like a Dunkin' Donuts thing.
wish upon a Starbucks, you know?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
it
see.
was, you know, so like the phone wouldn't be called like a one-eyed phone or something. It would be called like it would just be, yeah, what Diggins is saying, like a clamshell thing with like the mirror in it.
And she'll
Is
call
the
it like
mirror
an
gonna-
eye mirror.
Ooh, what if the mirror is AI and this is a movie about the AI taking over or something? That could be kind of fun. Shrek guys, if you haven't made the movie yet, because it doesn't come out for another year and a half, make it about that.
More.
You know, pretty cool. But speaking of well, you know, without getting into it, maybe the AI is in the Gorge.
Maybe.
You know, maybe that's what's down there.
We don't know.
But we got to talk about the Gorge. So DJ, right? Because you remembered the aunt daughter last week.
Yeah, I remember the aunt daughter.
Cassie
That's
Lang.
right.
And you know what? So, other people people were saying on the Discord there were other things that were not in that list, like Iron Man's dad gets recast between Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 2, stuff like that. So, you know.
But I think he doesn't like show up. There's like a picture, right? I think
that's a picture.
I think they were only counting people who like portray the character and have lines getting recast for no other reason than just they wanted a new actor.
It's fair.
Or I guess with Harrison Ford because the person died.
And I think they also probably wanted a new actor, you know. They all, because probably they love new actors. I mean, listen, this movie would not have made $200 billion in the William Hurtiverse. As much as I think the people love William Hurt, he's not quite the Harrison Ford of his day. But you know,
right.
We got to talk about the Gorge, the movie that maybe that's what's in there. You know, maybe the Red Hulk shows up in this one too, jumps out of the Gorge. Yeah,
it would be a surprise in this one because it's not in the trailer.
Yeah, this is, and like, listen, maybe this is a movie where it's take place all at the same time as Captain America: Brave New World, and we never hear about it.
It
know, it's all in the Gorge. Yeah. And until men made explicit otherwise, I think we have to assume that's what's going on here. But beyond that, DJ, as the guy who remembered the aunt daughter, you are in charge of the IMDbing of this week of the Gorge. So take it away.
Yeah, and so exciting for me, I think. And you know, one of you has to nail this because don't make me go to a fucking tiebreaker. Okay, so it's the Gorge. And it's on IMDb, so now we play the game called the IMDb B as in spelling bee summary game, where my two esteemed co-hosts have to guess the summary as an IMDb. And everyone's wondering, well, how do they get the summaries into IMDb? It's actually very interesting, guys. And, you know, you'd think we'd just go over this. We wouldn't have to do this every week, but I'm sure we get new listeners every week, so it's important to do it for those new listeners. But so IMDb has they have little like where are the places where like monks live? They're like secluded
monastery,
like temple, monastery.
Like
yeah,
these little monasteries like all over the globe, and they're the IMDb B as in best friend. Like monks, but they're not called monks. They're something else. They're best friends, and there's two of them, and they're in all places it's the globe. And what they do is they're totally isolated, so that they don't have like other influences from society coming into them. But about once a week they get a movie sent to them, and it's really tough for new releases like this because you got to do it really quick. But they get the movie, but they don't watch the movie. They have a little Ouija board and they like use a seance to channel the spirits from the movie to have a Ouija board tell the summary of the movie, because the best friends, they don't have technology, so they can't watch the movie, but the spirits have watched the movie, so the spirits commune to the best friends to do the Ouija board, and then they use carrier pigeons to send those summaries to IMDb headquarters. And you'll never guess where it's located. You'll never guess.
Is it the Gorge?
It's the Gorge.
Is it the swamp?
No, it's the Gorge. That's where the headquarters is. Yeah, in the Gorge.
Wait, so I have a question. I have a couple of questions. Number one, are there only 2 of these monks?
In each location, yes.
Oh, okay. That's so that
each
answers my
monastery
second
has
question.
a discrete 2 monks.
2 monks, right?
Yeah.
What if
the monasteries
they don't like
are everywhere?
What if there's like tension?
Well,
between the monks?
Sexual?
Maybe.
Well, I think the Ouija board removes the tension, right? Like you go with the spirits.
Well,
do they take a vow of silence?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, everything is just like, but yeah, it's very monk-like, but they're not monks, right? They're distinguished to the IMDb best friends.
Did they try this with one guy without best friends, where it was just one monk, but then the Ouija board is bullshit, so he just kept going like, no, it's not working. But you need 2 guys.
Yeah, I think you need at least 2 people for a Ouija board, right?
That makes sense.
They'd have more, but I don't think IMDb has the resources for more than 2 best friends at a given monastery, or else maybe they would have more.
Yeah, that's cool. You guys ever done a Ouija board?
No.
Me neither. It doesn't seem that good.
Wow, what a singular thing that we all share. We've never used a Ouija board. I'm sure a lot of these things, like never been bungee jumping or skydiving or things like that. But
and like never hula hoop, never yo-yo, and it's like I think if the 3 of us Ouija boarded once, we could contact the spirit world. I think we could do it. It can't be that hard.
Okay, so the spirit for this. So I think the spirit that they wanted to keep it vague, but they definitely wanted to get the point across about like what the movie is. So I hope that helps. Also, it's like there's a slight inaccuracy. I guess they don't want to give something away, but like it is not 100% accurate. I would say there's like one clause that's like kind of wrong. If you don't get it, it's not a big deal. You can ignore I said that, but I'm just throwing it there in case you really want to seal the deal. But anyway, Nando, as the longest loser in the history of this game, you get to choose whether you want to go first or second.
Since 1945,
since they started
the
Gorge,
losing IMDb,
since the Gorge, and Nando lost, and that was
47. Yeah, I remember it very, very well. Because I write down all the IMDb summaries afterwards and like a little thing, and I credit them to me behind my dresser or whatever.
You do the like Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
Steve Carell's character's name is
Michael Scott, baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, Diggins, you're going first. I forgot the name of the guy in the Gorge, so either you say it or neither of us do.
Well, maybe I won't say it then because I do know. But I feel like this is one of those movies where they're not going to say the names in the summary.
Quite possible, yeah.
I'll go with 2 soldiers stationed to watch over a mysterious gorge grow closer over their time there. But everything changes when they discover the Gorge's terrible secret.
Okay, I'm going to go differently than that. So yeah, I'm going to say a soldier, an American soldier, let's say, is stationed at a mysterious outpost known as the Gorge for a year, where he meets, I remember her name. Fuck it, let's say her name, Dasha. And let's say the way they fuck it up is they call her a Russian spy or something. Is her name not Dasha? Dacha?
It's
something
not.
Like that. Sure,
It's
it
not.
is. Pasha? What could it possibly be?
I'll tell you when you're done.
Dochi? It's Dochi, the rapper, everyone. He meets Dochi. All right, screw it. We're not doing a name anymore. He meets a Russian. He's across the street from a Russian one, and they have a connection. And that's it. Oh, and I'm going to call him a sniper. That's another thing I did correctly. Let's say. DJ, I lost, right? Huh? Look on your face is like...
Her name's Drasa, by the way.
Oh.
I think we
should
need
change
a
it
new
to
game.
Dacha. That's a better name.
I think there's a new game we need. I don't know what it is, but there's a new game now. And oh my God. We need a new game.
So did we both do really bad, DJ?
No, Diggins, you won.
Damn.
That's why we need a new game.
But
That's why we
mine
need
was
this
so
game.
good.
I kind of wanted to summarize this one too. Damn.
Yeah.
You can lose. Look, we should be able to say Diggins should be
That's
like, no, I
true.
lose. Like,
I mean, you gotta do
I'll
that
never
first.
intentionally lose.
Yeah.
You could summarize it for Nando.
No, he has to do
No,
it.
absolutely not. Also, a dacha is a home in Russia. That's the
There's
word
actually,
I'm looking for.
you know what? I'm a golden money ball. We're gonna do golden money ball because this is one of the stupid trivia things, and because I make the rules, and only Nando gets to guess this.
I hope it's not her name because I already
taking
forgot it.
Executive control.
It's not Dasha, right?
Her name is Drasa.
Okay. Drascha.
I said that, yeah.
It means something in Lithuanian. What does it mean?
Ooh.
It better be Gorge. It's not Gorge. It's got to be something that's related
It's
to her,
Gorge.
right?
Yes.
It's Gorge. Oh yeah. Her name is You said Dacha. You said
Drasa.
Dacha, right?
Drasa.
Dacha, country house in Russia, typically a
Doichi.
second vocation. Yeah, Doji. Yeah. Drasa.
Mm-hmm.
If
I mean, maybe
helps-
it is.
If
Just
it helps
house.
you figure this out, Lithuanian, famously fucked up language, like not related to like any other language.
Mm.
Oh, I'm sure that's very helpful, Diggins.
Well, what's a madrasa? What's that? You know, that's a thing in the world. So
It's like that's like a Muslim school.
so maybe it's that.
It's like a
But
religious school for Islam.
Yeah, is it that? I don't know.
Make a guess.
Drasa.
Just make a guess.
Drasa. Let's say dragon. How about that? Sometimes it's shit like that, right?
That is incorrect. It means courage in Lithuanian. It's also not a name. That's like not a name that Lithuanians have, apparently. They gave her a word as a name.
Like if you, in English she had been named Courage. It's like that's a word. It's not a name.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you lose, Nando, and I'm still going to feel bad about it. I'm just going to read it, and then I think.
Yeah, what is the thing?
Okay,
Let's hear it.
Two highly trained operatives become close after being sent to protect opposite sides of a mysterious gorge. When evil emerges, and that's part I contend that's inaccurate. When evil emerges, they must work together to survive what lies within.
Oh yeah, that's bullshit for sure. I mean, like I feel like evil. I mean,
Yeah, I don't like it. I think it's
a little
inaccurate.
bit.
But Diggins did win handedly.
Yeah,
I don't know what to do anymore. I'm upset
I mean,
because this is affecting me now.
you gotta
Listen, if Nando wants to win, he should do a better job.
That's true. I should do better. I should do better at remembering the names of the ones of them first. That's helpful. But second, I should I don't know.
Should have taken my hint that Lithuanian's a fucked up language and realized that it couldn't have been a thing that sounds like a word in English.
But I
don't know why you would
speaking of English, in English, well, it can be in whatever language you want, Diggins. But what did you think of the Gorge?
What did I think of the Gorge? We do a lot of these direct to streaming movies that are bad and like uninspired, and I don't like at all. I don't think I've ever liked any of them. This movie's really stupid. And I kind of like that.
Hey!
Yeah,
nice.
Gorge.
Nice.
I don't know that I would recommend it. I don't know that it's a good movie, but I kind of like it. It's a very silly movie in that it's like both very self-serious and also tries to be very cutesy at times. And like it feels really weird for that reason. And then like halfway through it turns into a completely different movie. That's like just a complete tonal shift that is also a lot less interesting than the movie that had been happening, if you ask me. But just, I don't know, it's so weird and like so dumb that I kind of enjoy. And it helps that Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy are just like fun actors who can make this like not so great material still kind of like fun to watch. So yeah, I don't think it's a good movie necessarily, but honestly, for one of these things, that we've done. This is probably the best one of these things we've ever done. At least, like I enjoyed it.
So you're saying like it's not worth getting Apple TV Plus, but if you have Apple TV Plus, maybe like give it a go.
I think that's fair. Yeah,
Okay.
I wouldn't subscribe for this, but you know, if you're paying them money for nothing anyway,
you're paying for Severance, Diggins. That's what
yeah,
you're paying for.
All right,
and other shows.
If you resubscribed recently for Severance and you're looking for some
bingo
something to fill the hours,
that's me.
You
that's
could do
me,
worse
baby.
than the Gorge.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean that's basically it. What do you think, Nando?
I agree with Diggins mostly that this movie has a really interesting kind of, not interesting, I guess, but like when I saw the trailer for this movie, I was like, oh yeah, this is a streaming movie. Like it's, you know, takes place in 2 locations with exactly 2 stars, and you know, other people will show up, but like it's very economical and it's very economical in terms of actors and stars, and like also effects and locations and stuff. Like so much of it can be so controlled as long as they don't go in the gorge. Then everything could hold up and it could be cool. And I found myself, I don't like, Miles Teller is not one of my favorite actors. I like him, don't get me wrong, but I do think Anya Taylor-Joy is an actor who I just generally like, and I think when she shows up in this, I'm like, oh yeah, this is good. And I like Miles Teller too, don't get me wrong. But yeah, at one point it starts goes gorge heavy,
gets gorge
and it gets really, really stupid.
Goes gorge mode.
Yeah, it goes gorge mode. I don't think it's like the worst. It's obviously not the worst streaming movie. Neither of them are. Well, I mean, it could be. She's not a spy in the traditional sense of a movie. She's a spy in the traditional sense of like does murders, I guess, if you want to call it that. But yeah, this is not a traditional spy movie, but I do think it starts to feel more like a streaming movie. It starts to feel more like that other kind of streaming movie, like Extraction, where they want to show off how much they taught the actors fight choreography in like really long shots of like stuff. And that part's stupid. I wish they had stayed out of the gorge. And also, I really liked what's her name in it. The other actor.
River.
Yeah,
I think the only other woman in the movie besides Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah,
and the one on the TV who I was like, is that someone? It's not someone you know.
And the one in the helicopter.
That was a man.
That was a guy. I'm thinking, or was there a woman in the helicopter?
Or sorry, the plane when she's like, put your left hand on this. And he gives up his phone and
I kind of remember that.
He never gets back. By the way, spoiler.
That's a bummer. He doesn't get his phone back. Yeah. He should sue to go to the army or whatever. Be like, you guys, I went through a lot of shit, but I do actually, I have a lot of stuff on that phone. It was not saved to cloud because I'm I don't know. He's not like a hermit or anything. He just kind of is depressed. He does, but like I feel like he probably has cloud storage. He's not like he's been living in the woods alone forever. So never mind. He's probably got it all on the cloud. He probably thought about it. He was probably like, is it going to be worth it going back to get my phone? Probably not. Not to spoil how the gorge goes. Well, here's how it doesn't go. He doesn't get his phone back at the end. And this isn't one of those movies where like he loves his phone so much that at the end you're like, oh man, it sucks that he didn't get his phone. And then there's a post-credit scene where he like kills a bunch of people and takes his phone and is like, good thing I got my phone. And you're like, yeah. Doesn't do that either.
No, he's not one of those dang millennials.
Yeah. And Miles Teller, I still don't know if I like him. I think he's good in this, but he's not at one of those movie stars like, oh man, amazing. I love to see him in everything. But he's growing on me. I'll give him that. Just do one more of these Gorge movies, maybe 2, and then, or become a Shrek child. That's the other way to do it.
Ooh.
Yeah. And, DJ, that's what I thought of the Gorge. It's okay, except for all the end stuff, or pretty much everything after that one thing that happens, when it gets really, really bad. But the beginning part I thought was quite interesting. And so DJ, what about you? What did you think of the Gorge?
Okay, so I think I mostly agree with you guys. I mean, I definitely agree that once they go in the gorge, it's terrible. And like, you'd think that'd be a spoiler, but similar to Red Hulk, it's just all over the promotional material that like they go in the gorge. It's like in the summary, right? They must survive what's within. And like, I actually really like the like front part of this movie with like the introduction and like the what is this, and we're getting a little bit of the history, and it's very mysterious, right? And like, I feel like there's a slow burn. But to use a term that references another Miles Teller's movie and might also reference this movie, a lot of whiplash, where we're just like going back and forth.
Oh,
not only
I thought you were gonna say it's fantastic. I was like, oh okay. Say it again.
I thought you were gonna say it was Top Gun Maverick.
Then that's it. I wasn't gonna say it was Ready Player One.
Those are the three. He's not in that. It was that awkward moment where you're in the gorge, and you know it's the only other Miles Teller movie I can think of. It's Shrek 5, probably.
But yeah, like the reveals come like very fast, and the tonalities switch like very quickly. Like, I don't know if I liked it as much as Diggins. I probably might have liked it the same as Diggins. I do think there is a stupidity towards the end where it's like, all right, well, at least we're being like completely ridiculous, right? Because I think like when they're in the gorge, they're trying to do some serious stuff, but then there's like another reveal, and it's like, oh no, the whole thing's stupid, and like, you know, the events from there, it just gets even stupider, especially with how this movie resolves. Actually, I like the last 20 minutes as much as the first 20 minutes, because of how juxtaposed they are and how stupid the last 20 minutes are. Well, we'll talk about it, but the ending is so infuriating. It's like, it is so much have your cake and eat it too. Anyway, so yeah, I'm exactly where it's like, if you have Apple TV Plus and you like Anya Taylor-Joy and or Miles Teller, and like, you know, 2 hours, it's fine. It doesn't drag, which is good. Like, it's paced like fairly well. Some of the gorge parts are slow, but it doesn't linger too long. I'd say go for it.
You know what? Just turn it off after he shoots after they, spoiler alert, have a little date, and then he shoots a big, or not even shoots. He gets back on his little thing to go back to his side. Just turn it off and go. I hope they hooked up after this gorge thing that they did. Went pretty well.
Hey,
good for them, you know. The end. Because yeah, it feels like this could have been, I don't know. Yeah, this oh man, that's why this reads to me as it's from a book or something, because I could totally see an author being like, fuck, I thought I could write a whole book of gorge without them going into the gorge, but I think I gotta make them go in the gorge because they already had sex and now they can't have an argument in a relationship over the gorge. Like, what are they gonna do?
It's time to go gorging.
Yeah, let me see. I'm gonna Google see if it's based on anything. But yeah, we're gonna talk about the gorge, you guys. I'm gonna describe the gorge. So everybody that loves the gorge or wants to see it, go see it. You know, and then we'll be right back, and then you can watch it, or and then you can listen to us talk about it. But you don't want to get spoiled. You don't want to find out whether they go in the gorge, whether they have sex, or a bunch of the other things we've already said. But so and I'm looking at this now. Production. Okay, Zach Dean, the person who wrote this, who also wrote Fast X and The Tomorrow War.
Ooh, inauspicious.
Oh boy. Yeah. He wrote The Gorge. It was voted onto the blacklist in 2020.
The TV show.
Oh, maybe with the what do we call him? What is his name? The Concierge of Crime. The guy from last week. We talked about that. But also, Scott Derrickson directed this, by the way, which is funny. Who is the director of Doctor Strange, and being like, oh, I wouldn't have directed Doctor Strange 2, but I did see it and I liked it. I remember seeing that in the news the other day and going like, why are we talking about Doctor Strange? And it's because of this. It was Apple TV Plus. You know, they love shit like this. They love sci-fi, but it's also supposed to kind of be a social commentary kind of thing. And I'm not even, well, I mean, okay. They love sci-fi as they love sci-fi stories that are about something else, where this one's like about a rom-com a little bit. And that I think as a part of the pitch would sell Apple TV on this is like, it's a rom-com, but they're on opposite sides of the gorge. because it feels like Silo or like some of the other stuff that they make. But then they go into the Gorge, and I feel like you could just pass that right over to Netflix and be like, Netflix, you finish this shit up. You guys can do this. Do you have little skeleton guys from some of your other movies or something? Just put them in here. And they didn't look bad, to be fair. They look fine. Well,
yeah,
know,
actually, honestly, the effects in this movie look pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's not an ugly looking movie by any means.
Yeah.
Especially talking about the leads, if you know what I'm talking about.
Hey. Oh, my gosh.
I'll say it. Miles Teller, delicious.
I mean, he's a handsome man. He's he was Grimace in that one SNL sketch where they made Jacked Grimace. You remember this?
We got like
he's weird looking.
We got like one scene of like full shirtless, like
full
torso.
peen.
No,
you guys
full
didn't
frontal.
Get the full frontal.
Full peen.
Gorge.
So now we all know Nando's playing for Apple TV X.
Apple TV Australia in the Australian version they show it.
Yeah,
they go all the way because they got a lot of
makes a meal out of it too. They shift down and they just linger for like 10 full seconds.
Yeah, and then Drosker, whatever her name is, zooms her little scope in and is like whoa, 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 at it. Because obviously this is a scene that takes place in the Gorge, not before the Gorge or after the Gorge. And when I say in the Gorge, I mean outside of the Gorge, because if it took place in the Gorge, then they'd just be right next to each other. And she'd go, yeah, all right. Yeah, but this would be funnier if it was snipers. How long do you think it would take you to just be like, fuck it, man, I'm not... Like, he's like has such a routine and stuff in the Gorge. I would give up after day 2. I'd be like, I'm not showering. I'm not doing plants.
Yeah.
I'm just going to sit here and then...
Where do you go? This is usually
nowhere. It's bad for me. This is why I'm not going to do a Gorge. But I don't know.
So 2 questions.
So Nando could not beat a Gorge?
In a million years.
We have not asked these questions in a long time. So Nando couldn't do a Gorge, but could you take on a Hollow Man?
I mean, like, if I had a gun, for sure. But
for
like,
sure, you think that's like a final proposition?
I don't know about for sure, but I do feel like a lot of Hollow Men are shot at close range and killed. Like, there's not a lot to them. So like, if I had one of the humongous, guns that they have at certain points and I'm just shooting, then probably be okay.
Okay.
But I just would be dead. A dead me would fall into the Gorge and land thing. Like, there's no for all of my wonderful things that are great about me, terrified of heights. So going across the Gorge would be tough. And I think in a situation where I am Miles Teller, very depressed guy, and Anya Taylor-Joy is on the other side of that Gorge, you could get me to go to the other side of the Gorge. You could not get me to go back. Like, I'm not going to go back because I don't want to get in trouble with Gorge. I would just be like, I don't know, I'll tell them there's a fire or something, or a big monster came. And I'd kind of be too scared. So, I wouldn't be good at Gorge. If I had the Falcon's wingsuit, maybe I could do it, because then I could fly around. That's a different well, that's
story.
Just
like the cheat code from all
you blow up the whole Gorge by yourself. It's no problem.
And it would be pretty cool too, because then you could like use the wings to do all kinds of bullshit and stuff, like turn them into a big gun. I don't know. Little car. What do they use in this? A car and a gun. But yeah, so anyway, I don't think I could do Gorge. Could either of you guys do Gorge? How much money do you think they'd have to give you to do Gorge? How about that?
That's great. I would do Gorge for $2 million. I think I would do Gorge for.
Really? No internet? No phone? None of that? Just a year of your child's life gone before your very eyes? Like,
I don't have kids in this scenario. I would bring Nando so many fucking solo board games.
Yeah,
I would play the shit out of solo board games. I'd bring 30, one a day, per month. So I'm getting 12 playthroughs out of each one. Oh yeah, that's what I'm doing.
So many fucking Hollow Men would come out of the Gorge while you're playing the board games, and then you look up and go, whatever.
This is what the service is like. Fuck this.
Yeah, this is not cool. I didn't even pay attention. What about you, Diggins? What would you bring to the Gorge? Because he brings nothing, or I guess. Does he choose to bring nothing, or do you think the other guys brought a bunch of stuff? Like a book?
I mean, somebody had to have brought all those books, right?
Yeah. Original guy, because the books seem all like hella old. So
That's true. They are
probably the first
pretty
guy.
old.
I don't know. If I could just bring like a hard drive full of movies, that'd probably be fine.
No technology,
Movies,
sir.
video games.
I don't think it's happening. No.
Well, they said no like Wi-Fi or anything. I can't bring like a computer just to play movies on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, then I guess a bunch of books.
That's fair. I think I'd definitely bring like a guitar or something like that. You know, something I can get a skill I can learn.
Yeah. I get that.
Where I can at least come back and be like, I know, but I got a guitar skill, so that'd be pretty cool.
But to be clear, I could definitely do a gorge.
You could do a gorge.
I could do a gorge.
Okay.
I spend most of my time by myself.
Supreme confidence by Diggins that he can do a gorge. Wow.
Yeah. Well, you see, what you guys don't have my secret weapon for making it through long periods of isolation. You're not depressed.
Well, but I
Hey, I'm plenty depressed, I guess. I don't know. No, I shouldn't joke.
Yeah, I can read the news, Diggins. I could be depressed whenever I want. Here, let me just Google, see if anything exciting happened with Zelensky today.
See, the problem, Nando, is in this scenario, you couldn't. You couldn't read the news. So you'd have to induce the state in yourself.
I could guess the news.
I
think I'd be like, he's fucking something up right now. I just know it. I know it.
I know we're so fucked. I don't know how yet, but I know we're so fucked.
You know, Hulk Hogan or something. I don't know who's next, but one of them is going to be in some position I hate. Oh, that's that guy. And, and then some other, I'd be able to come up with other depressions that are just like, I bet they're going to fucking cancel some video game I really like or something, you know? They're probably going to shut down some studio for no reason.
Never getting Witcher 4. God damn it.
Yeah.
Lied again.
A fucking Wonder Woman game. What? She's sexy God of War, but a woman, like, what? How is that not a game? How is that not a skin you're putting on the God of War game? Like, I don't know.
We put too much money into multiverses, guys.
Yeah, and Suicide Squad killing the Justice League. The
Nemesis system's never going to see the light of day. It was the best system. So underrated. God damn it.
It's going right into the Gorge. We'll never see it again. That sucks. Maybe I will go into the Gorge to save the Nemesis system. Something I've only heard about. I never played either of those games.
It's actually really good.
Cool.
It's a really good system.
If you throw the Nemesis system into the Gorge, then like next time you fight a bunch of Hollow Men, like the next day is another Hollow Man going to come out and it's like, oh, I'm Gorslak, the Hollow Man. And I'm back and I want you.
Well, that's how the Nemesis system would work. You would get Hollow Men to like be a part of it.
Yeah, that's my point. I'm saying like if you threw the Nemesis system in there, would they start taking on the traits of the Nemesis system?
That'd be cool.
What was the Nemesis system? RIP to the Nemesis system, but like
it was a way. So in Shadow of Mordor, the idea was you would like you had some power that you would recruit the forces of Mordor, and it was like this like, kind of like ranking system where like as you got guys, it would net better guys, and like there have been like facsimiles of this kind of
But it also did it on the other side. For example, like if you lost to someone in a fight, like if someone killed you, then they would go up the ranks of the enemies and get stronger.
Right. Okay.
And so you could see them again and they'd be like, remember me.
Yeah.
Because you're both like undying warriors. So it's cool. It's fucking awesome. It sucks that it's gone.
Well, it's gone. Into the Gorge with it. Bummer. I don't think I could do the Gorge just for not having a pet. I love having pets. If they let me bring a pet, maybe
you might be able to bring one. I don't think that's off the table.
Or I could catch one while I'm there.
I was gonna say he says at the beginning there's a lot of wild game there. You could catch something probably.
That's true. Yeah, and domesticate something. And it'd be like a little, feral raccoon that I'm just like put a little hat on and just growling in the corner the whole time. I'm like, oh, there's a little guy over there. And the new Gorge guy would be like coming in and he'd start, what do I need to know about the Gorge? Well, that's little Steven over there with his hat. He's in charge of the Gorge over here. I wouldn't. Dacha would hide from me. She'd be like, "Oh, I don't want him to think there's anybody on this other side of the gorge. He's playing with a raccoon or something. He's got problems."
We don't like him.
Yeah, it wouldn't work out for us. But okay. So the gorge, like we're saying, it's a movie about two people on opposite sides of the gorge who should be enemies but turn to friends. And this is reminiscent of, and I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but an episode of a show I used to watch called Joey, where Joey gets his nemesis in an episode called Joey and the Nemesis. This is episode 6 of season 1. Now, I don't know if this nemesis will return in the future. As I've said, I've watched maybe 2 or 3 ahead. I got to Joey and the Perfect Girl Part 2 or something. So he hasn't shown up again, but I hope so, because what a special character we have here. DJ, without knowing, I guess, because I'm sure you haven't seen it.
I did. Yeah. I'm sorry. I watched last week's because I had time, and I had no time to watch this week's. I'm really sorry. But you guys want me to guess?
Likely story.
It always is.
It's like 21 minutes, DJ.
Those are 21 minutes I can spend with my son, Diggins.
He can watch Joey. It's for the whole family.
It's 21 minutes.
It's a great point, Nando.
Yeah.
Introduce your son to Joey.
I was gonna say, maybe you don't want to get too you don't want a family member to learn Joey's many values too early in life because of how many. By the way, I don't know if we talked about. We obviously talked about this. I saw somebody on the Discord saying apparently Drea de Matteo, and this is real thing, has an OnlyFans page. I don't know. I didn't see this yet. If it is a sexy OnlyFans page or not, because I know some OnlyFans pages just, I don't know, people saying hello or whatever. I mean, I don't know that, but I've been told that.
I believe I saw some of the interview where this came up, and she mentions that she was trying out some girl on her OnlyFans. So I would say,
oh my God,
probably a sexy one.
Okay, well, yeah. So then Drea de Matteo apparently has an OnlyFans because she. Oh, and then the other thing, because she's been kind of exiled from Hollywood because of, say it with me, everyone, vaccines. She does a few vaccines.
Yeah. Well, that might put her on the popular side soon. You know, I was
gonna say, yeah,
she might be getting a new job soon.
A Hollywood ambassadorship, yeah. Once John Voight goes the way of a certain.
Papal figure?
What was his? Oh no, I was gonna say, what was the name of his character in the movie?
Crassus.
Crassus. Yeah, that was what I was looking for. You know, or a papal figure who could live forever. We'll never know as of right now. As of time when this is recording. Okay. So anyway, she apparently has she in this interview that someone took up on the Discord, and thank you everybody for finding this. Apparently her 12-year-old son or 13-year-old son, 13, operates this OnlyFans, or at least did
does some editing.
Yeah. So she brought the incest was coming from inside the house, apparently, or like this was, you know, I don't know, just, or maybe it came from Joey. Maybe having worked on Joey and stuff, it kind of
maybe it
warped her brain.
Her.
Yeah.
Maybe TV is dangerous.
It is dangerous. That's why we should all gorge it up. Just go live in the gorge. And don't even look at people. Yeah. That'd be so funny. What'd you bring for Gorge? I brought both seasons of Joey. Okay.
You know what? We're not supposed to talk.
Yeah. The Gorge. Excuse me. So Joey and the Nemesis, DJ, if you had to guess, and an actor. It's another actor. And in this universe, it is an actor. Is Joey's acting nemesis. It is an actor who is very unlike Joey in almost every way, although the show does not paint him that way. But like, it's funny because now you're like, oh my God, this is who is kind of set up as his nemesis. But it's not like he's incredibly successful. He's just a jerk to Joey. But you want to take a crack at like an actor around the same age as Matt LeBlanc, who...
Are they the same age?
I would assume. It's not like, you know, someone 20 years younger than him or you know, Daniel Day-Lewis or something.
Just give me a second while I look up how old Matt LeBlanc is. 57? Okay. Oh my god.
I would say that's probably the age. I would say the other one's maybe in his 60s.
Slightly older.
Yeah,
Slightly
but
older.
in a similar class, I guess, in terms of like guys.
I'm going to give an answer I know is wrong, but I want it to be right in my heart. Nathan Fillion.
No, that would be fun.
No,
So that's the thing.
Not as far off, I think, as you would imagine.
Okay.
I would say two things are kind of, there's two ways to kind of taper your, that you can maybe fix this, because I do think you could get it. This guy is not very much like Joey, whereas I think Nathan Fillion is very much a Joey type, especially around this time.
Okay.
Even though this character is ostensibly going out for the same roles as Joey, it seems like they're really wide open calls, because, like, yeah, they don't look the same at all. The other thing is, I would say this person, what is funny about it now is this person's kind of a prestige actor. Not like exclusively, but I would say most people know them as one, including one movie that we have already mentioned on the podcast so far today, although we mentioned a lot of movies on the podcast today. So
Yeah, I would say they are now primarily known as a prestige actor, but that did not used to be the case.
That's right. Yeah. They're one of those guys who used to be full comedy and then made the switch at some point, and now we take them seriously.
Is it?
And they're still funny.
Is it J.K. Simmons?
No, but that's a good guess. That'd be funny. Because I feel like J.K. Simmons at that time was still like J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
So and Eminem. So it'd be pretty funny if he just showed up with his little Hitler mustache and like yelled at Joey.
I'm gonna get this part, Joey.
Yeah. Showing pictures of Ross and Rachel. That would be what he would want.
It was a movie we mentioned in this podcast.
I mentioned it very briefly, but yeah, there was a movie that.
I'm not sure what movie you're talking about.
Well, there we go. Then it's gonna be. Don't even bother thinking about it, because it's not gonna be super helpful. But
So it's like an actor in their 60s. They're a prestige actor. They haven't always been a prestige actor. What about Billy Bob Thornton? No, he's not a prestige actor.
I'd say he's almost a prestige actor. If he would stop making shitty movies every so often, he could be like, because like he's in like the Fargo show, that was good, but then he's in that fucking Landman show that's weird propaganda
with fucking Jerry Jones. Could have been the best actor of all time, apparently.
Oh, that's a very Joey-esque guy, if you ask me. If I'm thinking of oh no, that's not Jerry Jones. Sorry.
Oh, I know what movie you're talking about now.
Wait, Jerry Jones is in that show?
In Landman? Yeah, he's in Landman.
From the Cowboys? Not like a different guy. Oh,
no.
Man.
Like the owner of the Cowboys is in Landman.
That's weird. Is he an oil man himself? Probably, right?
Because he is an oil man in real life, so I guess he decides to be an oil man in Landman. I have no fucking idea. Jeremy Renner?
Nah, I'm gonna say you're off enough that it's probably not gonna happen. But it is a certain father of the March sisters, Bob Odenkirk.
Bob Odenkirk. Oh man,
who says the titular Little Women
line, "My Little Women," and also is in Breaking Bad and stuff. Yeah, that's why I do think. What else is he known for besides those things? What would you say? Like The Incredibles? I guess he was in that second Incredibles. I mean, like recently. Like, is he? Recently. Yeah. Does his career hold up? I mean, he's the guy who knows about the ice cream. That's really important.
That's true. Yeah.
They all shut down. Yeah, his dead wife, or she's very sick. He's great. And then.
Oops, sorry. You go.
Oh, I was just gonna say he's in at least one episode of The Bear. He's in a very good Bear episode.
Cool.
It's one of the flashbacks, so that's fun.
I think until relatively recently, he was all up in Better Call Saul, and that was a lot of what he was doing.
Yeah, and you know what? He's in those movies. I didn't like it. Well, not I didn't like it. It wasn't my thing, but he was in that Nobody movie where he was like a jacked old guy. So some people enjoyed that. I don't know.
We love our jacked old guys.
We do. And J.K. Simmons is jacked old guy too, so that was perfect.
Jacked old Santa, some would say.
That's true. Yeah. I was having a conversation about Red One at a bar yesterday with a lot of people, or not a lot of people, with a lot of like Red Notice, just energy, or Red One energy. Just like, look at how fucking awful that was. Everyone was like, yeah, it sucked. It was interesting because, you never think you're ever going to talk about one of those movies outside of podcast, but there it is.
There it is.
But anyway, so Bob Odenkirk is Joey's nemesis. And And that's the whole episode, basically. There's another like plot going on, but the main plot is
Another incest plot.
Yeah, another incest plot, which is, you know, I would say this is one that I was kind of surprised hadn't happened yet in the show, honestly, where his Drea and Matteo is Joey's sister, has like a boyfriend. That's the bit in this one. And we learn, I guess, that this has gone on before, or like she knows Michael is weird about boyfriends. So she's like, I don't want to tell Michael about my boyfriend because he'll freak out and stuff. And that's the incestiness of this episode. I do not want it to.
She's all excited because he's sick and she gets to take care of him. He needs her again, and she's like,
Oh my god, yeah. Wait,
like
that was this episode?
Yeah,
that's right, because that's how he does it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want that to take away from the Joey Nemesis stuff. I think is pretty good. It's just stupid little things where like the guy's like Bob Odenkirk's there and he's like, oh my god, you're Joey Tribbiani from Days of Our Lives. I love you so much. And
I love how many people watch Days of Our Lives in the Friends and Joey verse.
Yeah, right. Like, and they're not like, you know, spinster housewives or whatever the soap audience you would assume is. Like, these guys are in this show, I would say, probably a little bit older than us, maybe right now. You know, like I'd say they're probably in their 40s, but like, what 40-year-old do you know who watches soap operas? None.
It's called professional wrestling, Nando.
Well, exactly. That's what we watch instead. They had that in 2005 too, you know? Joey watches wrestling. I think we've established at least once on this show. But if you didn't, you'd love it. But the whole deal with this guy and his name, he has like a silly little actor name. I can't remember what it is, but I'm going to say...
let me see if I can no-scope this. I believe it is Brian Michael David Scott.
That's it. Yes. And I think it's funny because it reminds me of James Austin Johnson, the guy who does the Trump impression. And also, yeah, it's got Michael and Scott in it from The Office. Another thing that we've already talked about. And I think, I don't know, Bob Odenkirk auditioned for The Office, but he's one of those guys who I think maybe almost got the part that Steve Carell was. So I don't know if this is supposed to be related to that. Anyway, but his whole deal is he is an actor who knows Joey and hates Joey. Well, doesn't hate Joey. Well, I don't honestly know how he feels about Joey because it changes so much. I
think he just thinks Joey might get the part and also knows that Joey is stupid enough to be manipulated.
That's right. Yeah. So every time, and DJ, this is you know, the meat of the episode, basically. Okay. Joey will walk into a room with this guy and he'll be there and he'll be like, hey, I'm Brian Michael David Scott or whatever. I'm going to tell you a secret because I respect you, Joey, because I love you as Dr. Draco Moray. And he'll be like, oh, thanks, man. Us actors got to stick together. Yeah. So here's what you got to do. Run in and scream at the guys. And then Joey will be like, you sure? He's like, yeah, it's a secret acting technique. Only me and you know. And then he runs in, screams at the guys, and then loses the job. And then he goes to Jennifer Coolidge and he's like, why are they mad? I screamed at the guys. And it's, who told you to do that? And he's like, Brian Michael David Scott. And she's like, oh, he's your nemesis now. And then they do it again.
I get fillers.
Yeah. Ahead of her time.
This is not me making fun of Jennifer Coolidge, to be clear. She says this in the scene.
Yeah. But yeah, there's like a bunch of little like bits where, you know, he like tricks him into leaving the thing early or going to the wrong place. And like Joey's like, hey, Brian Michael David Scott, why did you do that to me? It's mean of you to do that. And he'd be like, I just respect you, Joey, because you're such a good actor. And I knew I'll never win against you. But you know what? Let's be friends now. So I'm going to give you a little tip. The acting room is actually that room. And then he goes in a room and it's locked door and they can't get back into the thing. So, you know, it's like he just keeps tricking him. It's a very Bugs Bunny-y kind of relationship. And I that's why I think this episode's kind of fun. There is a lot of incest, though. And the incesty bit, honestly, for me, that I think was so not like weird, but was the one I guess that I saw coming from a little while away, was Joey has to stay at Drea and Matteo's apartment, which, like we've discussed, is a different apartment from here. So she doesn't live with them, even though it's one of those sitcoms where it's like they all live here, right? But Joey sleeps in her bed And I imagine I can't remember. He's doing this because he doesn't want to get sick, or is he doing this because...
No, because Drea and Matteo's kind of like taking over the house for all the things she does to take care of Michael. So she's like, you can sleep in my apartment because I'm using your bedroom as like a humidifier room or whatever.
Yeah. So Joey goes to her place, and then he goes and sleeps in her bed. And then while he's asleep in the dark, someone comes into the bed and hugs him from behind and is like, hey, sexy. And it's her secret boyfriend. So it's a little, first of all, it's a little guy on guy. So it's not going to go on the OnlyFans. And then second, it's kind of a, like, it's incest, but by association, I guess. I don't know what you would count this, but it's more weird sex stuff with the sister. And it's really weird. But like I said, I like the Brian Michael David, whatever. The bit that the resolution of that I think is very fun is the idea that at the end we learn that Brian Michael David Scott is sabotaging all of Joey's auditions, but he is so much, the Nemesis system has overtaken him so much that now he is also sabotaging his own auditions, like, so that he can fuck over Joey. And then they're like, wow, we must have some sort of respect for each other because we're so, connected. And it's pretty good. I mean, I don't know, but pretty good. But I don't know. I liked it. It's not my favorite one. I still think my favorite one's The Party. And I think it's because of the neighbor. I like seeing her do stuff here. But I mean, this is obviously the best character. Yeah, she doesn't show up at all. And we're going to get more of her in the next episode. Because I believe the next episode is the one where her husband reappears.
Yeah, the next one is called Joey and the Husband. So
yeah.
Get ready, boys.
But yeah, that's more or less the deal with this episode of Joey, the Nemesis. And I would say again,
also, it turns out the boyfriend like sucks, and he gets money by losing digits at construction jobs. So Joey and Michael are like, you should get a better boyfriend than that, and she's like, okay.
Mm-hmm. And based on maybe stuff about her as a person. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe that's
Frankly, what
good
she
fit.
says about how being a single mom just like drastically lowers the quality of your dating pool ain't wrong.
That's fair as well.
Ooh.
Look, I'm
not fair to the world.
Like it's a good thing. I'm just saying it's true.
I get
fair
it.
as rings true. Yeah. But speaking of other things that are real, that are in the real world, let's talk about the Gorge.
All right.
Because there's gorges in the real world, I assume. Not evil ones, but
many gorges.
Not the gorges, but
not that we know of. But they may still have the blockers up.
My sister went to Ithaca College, which famously has so many gorges that they have a little unofficial slogan that like Ithaca is gorges.
Oh,
very good.
Look at them. Oh,
nice. Is that like what makes something a gorge?
It's like a very narrow sort of valley cliff thing, usually with a stream at the bottom.
Okay. Oh, the stream is part of it, kind of?
Well, that's how it forms. The stream wears down over time.
Right. Is that how this gorge formed?
Well, I mean, gorges form over a very, very long period of time. Presumably it was a pre-existing gorge.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Happened. Does the evil make the gorge more of a gorge? Do you think it like accelerated the gorging process?
The engorgement?
I don't think so.
Yeah. No.
I think it made more gas or whatever, but
more poo gas.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about it. But anyway, so yeah, the gorge. It's pretty cool. Well, we don't even go to the gorge. First, we go to the hole, which is where Anya Taylor-Joy's character, Dachshund, everyone loves her. She is a sniper. She does sniping, and she sits in a little snipery thing and does scopes.
Real quick, Nando, before you go on, I don't know what to activate when I have something to say.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. What a humongous mistake about I forgot. It's funny that DJ mentioned the Ouija board, because this is not the Ouija board. But this is the magic 8 ball is what we've gotten for this. And instead of 8, it's not, no, 9's probably also fake patented. Let's say the magic 3 ball or something. And so it's one of the red ones. And what you do is you shake it up and shake, 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 go, 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 and then it appears. The thing appears, and then that is what your thought is. So it might be one of the ones that is traditionally in a Magic 8-Ball, or it might be really specific to the Gorge. It's up to you. But yeah, so everyone remember, that's better than the wheel. Is the Magic 8 or Magic 3-Ball. So
Gotcha.
yeah, so Anya Taylor-Joy is a sniper, a very patient sniper who does sniping in a little hole, kills a guy coming out of a jet.
Shoots her gun, and then a couple seconds later, he reacts as if he's been shot.
Well, like they had to have done that right? Is that supposed to be like that is how long it would take for the No,
it's what she said was 38. Well, is that her record shot? The 38?
No, this is just some regular shot she's taken. This isn't the one she did. That's like a world record or whatever.
I mean, it could be though. Like I don't know how far.
It's not. It's not
clear. It's clearly not Yemen, which is where that one happened, and it's clearly not super strong winds, which is what was going on during that one.
Regardless, to the point being is that like if there were a 2-second delay, like the bullet is like traveling like 2 miles and then like falling off the trajectory where it's like hitting your foot or something. You know what I mean? Like
actually part of being an actual sniper is knowing a lot of math to know how much the bullet's going to fall, so how much higher up you should aim.
Yeah, and curvature of the
don't even.
But those high caliber sniper rifles, it's like you hear the shot and then they're down, right? Like that's how quick it is. It's always funny in movies where it's like, yeah, it probably takes 2 seconds for but like no, crazy. Like
wow.
GoldenEye got it right. You sniping GoldenEye, those they fall immediately. Hitman, Sniper Elite 4, they all get it right.
Marvel Rivals, if you're one of the sniper character. Well, no, Black Widow sucks.
You mean Overwatch, Widowmaker?
Yeah, Overwatch, Widowmaker
Everyone
also
plays
sucks.
it, right?
Yeah. How is that in some games sniping is like the best thing? Well, is it that they make it shitty so that it's not a game where you're just constantly getting sniped?
Famously, really Team Fortress 2, the sniping was pretty good.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So
I think it has to do with some games like model the bullet, so it has to physically travel, whereas some games like there is no actual bullet, it's just like the interaction happens and the damage just happens. So like if you model the bullet, it takes longer than it would in real life because it's not actually moving as fast as a real bullet would.
Yep.
That's interesting.
However, TF2 did it. That was good.
Is there, now that I think about it, because obviously the sniper in TF2, Australian, but then Widowmaker, French.
Yeah, that's right.
Black Widow, Russian. Is there like a thing? Is this like a trope of the overseas sniper being a thing?
But Nando, you're forgetting Bradley Cooper in American Sniper.
Well, that's the thing. That's American Sniper. You have to clarify. It's like but Bradley Cooper's the sniper. It's called American Sniper. He has a fake little baby. Oh, okay.
It's like American football, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not real football. It's American football.
But yeah, like now I'm thinking about it. What's another sniper from a movie? Are there like other movies where like a badass is a sniper? And you're like, it usually would have to come in a group of guys, right? You'd assume like there'd be like the A team. They don't have a sniper, but like,
I mean, in Metal Gear Solid, there's Sniper Wolf, who is Kurdish.
Ooh, but then isn't there also Quiet, the sniper woman who has skin that is she breathes through her skin?
When you find out why she's naked all the time, you'll be ashamed of your words and deeds.
Is she American or not?
I don't think so. I think she's like Israeli.
Okay.
There you go. You just can't have... Bradley Cooper's the only American sniper. I will say though, and not to, I know Nando's giving the summary, and I don't mean to interrupt too much, but they posit, these two characters as snipers, but they're really just everything. They're not just snipers.
It does seem like being a sniper is such a specific skill set that this would be like if you took a golfer and then had him do karate. And you'd be like, well, golf and karate are both sports, right? So they could probably do karate too. But maybe it is, I mean, I guess Mike, like, not Mike, excuse me, Goose or whatever, Rooster, from Miles Teller is like, I think like a guy who is just supposed to assume is the ultimate badass. I do feel like Doxo is more of like a like specific thing where she's like, I would not expect her to also be Black Widow, but she also is Black Widow. So good for her. But yeah, that's because when they start being Black Widow, the movie is bad. So it becomes bad movie. But in the beginning where they're just depressed snipers, it's kind of cool. But yeah, so anyway, they do their thing. She does a murder. Pretty cool. Yeah. And it, you know, the guy seems bad. He's on a private jet, so do what you gotta do.
He's rich, so he's inherently evil.
Oh, and we learn, right? White phosphorus and landmines.
Yeah, he's
like
yeah,
that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And you know, Miles Teller is depressed from war or whatever, and he, you know, gets a call to report to a base to do a base thing. And when he gets there, he meets a character that is played by Sigourney Weaver, and she is, I don't know, I feel like in the IMDb her name is probably the boss or some shit like that, but
the spook.
The boss from Metal Gear Solid 3?
Oh, maybe, yeah. She's Big Boss. She's
No,
maybe,
the boss and Big Boss are two different people.
I'm saying maybe she comes back in number 3 as Big Boss. With what is Big Boss? Is that Snake again or something? It's like a younger version of Snake.
So Big Boss is the original. In Metal Gear Solid 3, he's Naked Snake.
Right.
Goes by codename Snake. And then later in his life, some of his DNA is taken and 3 clones are made of him, one of which is Solid Snake.
Yep.
Cool.
So Big Boss and Solid Snake are different people, but they are genetically identical because he's a clone.
Nice. So then, yeah.
But also maybe
there'll be
not
clones of
entirely
her.
identical because he has all the recessive genes, which doesn't make sense, but don't worry about it.
Well, yeah, don't I don't want to say don't get attached to whatever her name is, the spook or the boss or whatever, but if she were to die in this, maybe she could come back as a clone and through evil cloning technologies. But yeah, so she recruits Miles Teller and she's basically like, hey, are you depressed? Are you a good sniper? Yes. She's like, do you know who I am? And he's like, no, but you look really serious and badass and you're here, so you must be cool and sick. And she's like, I am cool and sick, and I want you to go do the Gorge. And he's like, I don't know what that is. I
do believe calling her spook specifically means that he thinks she's CIA.
Yeah. But I feel like we get the sense early on that she is not part of any government agency, even the CIA, right? Like, I think she says that.
That is what turns out to be true also.
Yeah. And maybe it's just me, my cynical self, thinking that this would be some fucking private equity firm or something that manages the Gorge at this point. So, you know, that's just my default assumption. Movies are ruined. She's going in.
She's like, by the way, while you're there, just check to see if there's any like copper wiring or anything in the outpost that maybe we could turn a profit if we sort of like stripped it for parts.
Yeah. It's the Gorge is going to declare bankruptcy in a couple of Gorge cycles. It's all right. So Doxo or whatever, she is I guess she gets to the Gorge. We don't really see her. Well, you know what? No, because we have her little thing with her dad, right? That's like before. Yeah. That's pre-Gorge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's her dad is. Do we learn if he was he also a kind of military guy?
He was KGB.
Later she says he was KGB.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah. So he's, you know, just kind of being sad and stuff at the mom's grave. And like you were saying, I think she is, even though the way we've kind of described her and the way these movies tend to go, you would assume she's Russian. She is actually like Lithuanian and part of like the Russian kind of side of the Gorge. So it does seem like we never see her recruitment to the Gorge. But yeah, some fucking, you know, what's his name? Rupert Friend looking guy probably came and, you know, conscripted her or whatever. So she's sad about her mom. we learn that her dad has, I can't remember. Oh no, he has like a disease, right?
Yeah,
What is
cancer.
Is cancer? Okay, yeah. And he's gonna die. So he says that he is going to, like, he tells her in a very kind of Russian, ish, like kind of stoic way.
Very Lithuanian way,
if you say so. Well, this is the thing. I don't want to put this on Lithuanians, but I do think this is somewhat. This does feel like a Russian thing. He's going to take his own life on Valentine's Day, because he wants to be with his wife, and also he knows he is going to suffer through his disease. Dasha has like her thing where she's like, oh, but I'm gonna be gone at Gorge that day, and it's sad. And they like do it, and again because they're almost Russians, they do this, they take a drink for her and stuff, and
I think Lithuanians would be far more offended by being called almost Russians than by attributing any of this to them.
Yeah, I agree. Like, that's
all right, Lithuanians. Listen, Lithuanians. Yeah, I'm talking to you guys.
Isn't Lithuania a NATO country?
That doesn't really mean that much these days, DJ. Well, okay. Let me look at a map.
It's right. Yeah. NATO.
Yeah.
No.
It's a Baltic state. Yeah.
And literally borders Russia, but like
the history between the Baltic states and Russia is what one might call fraught.
Yeah. Well, when I say almost Russian, all I mean is in terms of, to get there in like a little, can you walk there? We're not, that. Although we're on our way.
Well, but, I feel like, and this might be worrisome, but I feel like it's calling America almost Mexico.
I'll take it. If anybody wants to start saying that, this is North Mexico, right above the Gulf of Mexico. Whatever. Also, just so none of the pod jackals get on us, Lithuania technically not connected to Russia.
Oh, it's not.
It is connected to
border. It's just close.
It's close. It's Poland on the southwest, Belarus on the southeast, and then Latvia south or northeast, and then the sea or whatever, Baltic Sea on the west coast. So, but yeah, next to those two, next to Belarus and Latvia, you got Russia. So it's one of those ones where you're like, gotta check on that. But yeah. Do you think is there a world where this movie was written with her being Russian, and then they went like, we want people to like her though. She can't, political climate.
If only they knew that might be a plus.
That's true. Yeah. It's it's a real conundrum. They should make multiple Gorges. This is what AI should be for. Is that, you just turn on the Gorge and it asks you, do you like Russia or not? And it's like, no. And then, then you get this one. And then if you don't, you just, I don't know, you probably don't want to watch the Gorge. You probably want to watch more Yellowstone or something. Yeah, so you probably do that instead.
I don't think Apple TV has that, but
it can make the AI could do something. Yeah. Yellow Rock, or I guess Yellowstone is like a national park. I imagine it's also like something else in the world of this show. Is it like a family or like an actual rock that the park is named after or something? I don't know.
I think it's just that it's near Yellowstone.
I guess that makes sense, because that's the one Yellowstone takes place in the modern day, right? It's the one that's called like 1820 whatever. That's like the olden times one. Yeah,
and there's like there's a 19. So they have like a bunch, right? Isn't the Harrison Ford one like 1913?
No, you're thinking of Captain America: Brave New World.
Oh,
yeah.
I hope he's every time.
Or yeah, Apple could just make the next season of Searching about him remembering his days, or not Searching, excuse me. What's the one called? The Apple TV show where it's like about a therapist.
Downsizing.
No, but it's like that. Shrinking. It's called Shrinking. They have such similar titles, but yeah, they could make Shrinking just like about him being like, oh, remember what I was in the fucking 1910s doing oil stuff or whatever. I look the same. And then they could just play that show. And Landman and all that stuff. Anyway, listen, on this podcast, we love Tyler Sheridan or whatever. He's really tall and he's not a bad writer. He writes a lot, but,
he only has one idea though.
Listen, that guy's not his self-insert.
No, not at all. He can ride a horse. He can do all kinds of cool stuff. And you know what? Miles Teller's guy probably can ride a horse because he's got all the army skills.
That's
I don't
true.
really see too many of them. Like, we see a lot of them, but like,
we see a lot of horses. We don't see a lot of horses Miles Teller is able to ride.
Do they teach you how to ride a horse in the army right now, do you think?
So not like practically, I don't think any of the mounted units still do horse stuff. Maybe like ceremonially, like maybe there's like a very small
right,
group of people that do
like
that.
How New York still has horse cops.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, it's like how like in high school, I don't know if you guys had to do this, they make you like do a day of square dancing at gym.
Yeah.
Like, this is kind of a thing.
Yeah, they established that like decades ago so that we wouldn't be swayed by the colored music.
Yeah, it didn't work. I mean, you know what? To be fair, nothing. I remember nothing from high school like that kind of stuff. I remember we did that one day, and that was one of those things where you had to like have a partner, I think, for a bit. And because it was high school or like middle school for me, it became one of those horrible like things where everybody has to pair up, and it just turns into just like psychological chaos.
Right.
I don't remember if I enjoyed the dancing or not. I probably didn't hate it, but yeah. Took a lot of energy. But luckily I know it now, so I can use it. Can you guys ride a horse?
I've never tried.
Like,
never.
Can I ride a horse? Have I gone horseback riding? Yes. Like, could I just like get on a horse and ride it? Like, no, I couldn't control it.
Yeah. It is most for instances of horseback riding that we would encounter in our lives is like a guy who actually knows what he's doing leads the horse for you.
Yeah. I do have a quick fun story. Michelle and I went horseback riding up in Canada the first day like horseback riding was open. It was like April 1st, which was like the opening season for horseback riding.
Did you get fooled?
Well, what do you mean?
Well,
it was a big squirrel or something.
I guess this was a bit of a prank.
Canadian horse.
Yeah. But Michelle got on her horse and it started to go. And I guess because it was like shaking the horse rust off, it like freaked out and it like bucked up and started like going the other way, galloping. And like the trainer was just like, pull up. And it was like, it was funny to see, but I imagine horrifying to be a part of.
I feel that.
Funny for me, though. I was not. Yeah.
I laughed so long and hard at my dear frightened wife.
It was funny.
I feel like horses, my recollections, I've ridden horses a couple of times. They're uncomfortable. Like, and not even if you have a saddle, it's still uncomfortable even with that. Like, it sucks.
You're being jostled up and down on a hard surface for however long. Of course it's uncomfortable.
Yeah. It sucks that used to be the main thing, you know? You'd have to get on a horse if you wanted to like go to California or whatever to pan for gold. I don't know what people did. Probably a lot of square dancing there too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But anyway, so Miles Teller. Dasha's sad. Dad's gonna die. But she's also going to Gorge. The other thing that I think is important that I kind of forget if I said during the Sigourney Weaver bit is she's like, do you want to go to Gorge? And she kind of, you can tell she's like recruiting him, but also she's like, are you so depressed that no one will miss you and you're just the saddest guy ever?
Is there anyone in the world who would notice if you died?
Yeah. And he's like, no, I'm an idiot, so I'm not going to learn anything from this conversation. That's cool of him. So he goes to Gorge. And like we're saying, it is in the woods. It is a gigantic, building-sized, multi-story, big like concrete bunkery thing that is like a building. Like it's like, you know, it's got a smallish footprint, but it's huge. And it is on the side of the gorge. On the other side of this gorge is a different one of those with the same. And he meets a guy who is the guy who's currently at the gorge. And this guy like very chit-chatty, which is handy for the plot. And it tells him all the stuff about the gorge. You know, you got to hunt at the gorge for food. There's like a little, you know, there's like all kinds of stuff there. And also there's weapons and weapon systems. It seems like gorge work usually is just maintaining the weapon systems. Yeah. Which is, I think, I was kind of hoping was what most of it would be for the movie. Like I was hoping we wouldn't see a hollow man till like the absolute end. We'll see one pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Because Kevin Bacon's expensive, so like There's no way they can have him on screen for that long.
Yeah, and he's, remember that movie? His dick was just hanging out there as like the little hollow man. That movie was cool. It was ahead of its time. But yeah, so the guy, I don't know, what do you guys remember what the guy tells him? He seems friendly. He seems pretty well adjusted for a guy who's been at Gorge for a year. Oh, you have to do check-ins. That's important.
Yeah, basically, pretty basic stuff. Got to maintain the weapon system. There's something we're keeping out. I don't know what it is, and they'll never tell you.
Yep.
Do radio check-ins. The only way I know any of this is because the guy I met when I started told me that. So, whatever.
Big circle of trust here. Big circle of trust.
The one thing about, and I want to shake the magic 8 ball here because it.
You mean the magic 3 ball.
Or the magic 3 ball, excuse me. Yeah, sorry. I have a little schmutz on the 8 that makes it look like or the 3 it makes it look like an 8, but yeah,
that
shake it up.
Yeah.
And it just reads, but what if I can't hunt? Because that's not a skill everyone has, right? Like everybody in the army. And she didn't ask him about that. What if he gets there and he's like, oh yeah, no, they didn't make us hunt at army. They gave us food.
There's a
we learn how to shoot
garden.
people.
There's a garden.
I don't know how to garden either. They don't teach you that.
That's fair. Yeah.
Is the garden like self-sustaining? You just garden and you're good to go. Right.
I guess it's already up and running, but it's not a humongous.
You still gotta take care of them. Unless they're all like, well, it depends. If they're like wild plants that grow on their own, I guess not. But if they're like domestic plants, then yeah, they need to be cared for.
I think you're just good to go, if I'm being honest.
I mean, we don't see a ton of the garden. It also doesn't seem that big. Like, there's the one bit where he's harvesting like tomatoes or carrots or something from it, and it looks like it's about as big as like, I don't know, a car. The whole garden. Mm-hmm. Which I get. He doesn't need a lot of tomatoes and carrots, but I feel like he needs a little bit more variety than like that space would allow. But I don't know. I mean, do you think somebody? Well, but even if you could, like, one guy kill all the deer and then just freeze it, and then put it in like a little freezing thing.
Even frozen meat doesn't last that long.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, there's a lot. Like, the weird thing is our boy Levi. Levi's our boy. Mm-hmm. He didn't. He. It seems like he might have come with Zachary Levi.
Oh no.
He might have come with a few supplies in his like rucksack, but like, there's a lot more that this place needs, and they're not like airdropping stuff in. I'm like, who does the maintenance of the actual like facility? Because it doesn't seem like it's Levi. It'd be like
what kind of maintenance do you need to do in the facility, really?
I mean, like I don't know. Like, maybe you don't need anything, but like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. Presumably, it's been like, assuming it takes place today. Yeah. This is a 2025 setting.
Yeah,
that place has been up and running for 78 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you think probably a few cracks in the concrete or something. You got to go take care of that.
That's true. Probably from all those explosions too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, because like
if there's regular explosions in the gorge wall, you'd think that would undermine some of the foundation of the of the tower at some point.
Well, maybe maybe like in 2015, that one of the towers just fully fell into the thing. And this is a pretty new tower, so they don't really have to worry about that. Although this one looks pretty old still because it's got all the old fixtures and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. And also, like, they have like, does he have like electricity?
There's a generator.
He does have that makes sense. That's good.
But he's just like solar powered.
And
like
solar. Solar and generator.
Yeah. Like someone has to maintain though. You need fuel for a generator. It didn't bring a year's worth of fuel. Like I don't know. There's just like you need something. I guess is my point. You need something.
Yeah. Then why not give them a supply drop every month or so?
Right.
That'd be nice of them. They can give him a book. They can give him some propaganda or whatever so they can influence him.
Why
subtly.
the Gorge matters. You're doing your part for the Gorge.
Yeah, like I feel like and then every season you'd get like a little thing, like a little piece of a turkey or whatever, and you'd be like, right, yeah. Because I do think one of the
KFC chicken every Christmas.
That's what I'm talking about. I do think one of the things that I'd be worried about as a Gorge person is Gorge madness or something, right? Like if I'm in charge of the Gorge, like these people are not the most stable ever, especially not him. And they don't seem to have a huge vetting process to make sure that your guy is going to be good for a year at Gorge.
Right.
They get real lucky that all he does is write little poems and stuff.
That's a good point.
Instead of like, I feel like there could totally be a version of Gorge where like 2 weeks in, Dasha gets there and she looks over. She's like, I wonder if I got a sexy guy at the other side of the Gorge. And he just got like really long fingernails and like urine everywhere. And it's just fuck. They probably haven't really. They got a bad one.
This
they
guy
got
sucks.
This year. Yeah.
I mean, considering that the interview process seems to be like, are you mega depressed and have nothing to live for and no one cares about you? I feel like you're selecting for Gorge madness.
Yeah, I do too. It's it's weird. But he's, like we're saying, he's got a pretty chill Gorge existence. It's hanging out, it's hunting and stuff, I guess. And like we're saying, it's a lot of maintaining because he's got, besides him having a gun, he has a bunch of rifles and whatever. He also has a big old, minigun or whatever, something like that at the top of the Gorge thing. There's also a bunch of robot controlled automatic
like turret guns.
Turret guns, yeah, are all down the center or like down at the Gorge level, or like the cliff of the Gorge or whatever. And there's like 20 of them or something every couple miles or couple feet. I don't remember. They say something about the distance. I can't remember what it is.
I don't remember.
Yeah. There's also a big collection of mines. This is the other thing with the mines and the fencing. It's like, is it his job to put new fencing in? Because that gets fully destroyed in a not that exciting Gorge incident. Like before any of this Gorge stuff really goes south, it seems like that's the kind of thing that would just happen.
I mean, presumably we see him replacing the mines at one point.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Like there's a bunch of mines probably in the basement, but is there like whatever fencing materials, and does he have to again, this would be a thing where I'm like, listen, they did not tell me in Army how to make a fence. You should have hired like a plumber or something. I feel like there's other people that would be better at this since all the guns are automatic anyway. Like why?
Except for the central part, which is like weird. Like that's why they need to be there, unless it would be like fully automated.
Especially because the guy he talks to is like, yeah, so the easiest part for them to climb is the central part, the part with no defenses.
Oh man. Oh yeah, and this guy tells him about the Hollow Man thing. One thing I think is really funny. And I'm gonna shake the magic through ball one more time. I just want to say, McCavity, the Hollow Monster, or whatever. We get this is a T.S. Eliot poem. His name checked here. Could have been a cat. I
mean, given what we learned later, possibly somewhat cat-like.
That's true. And are there any cats specifically that you think would be better names than Hollow Man? Everybody loves cats. Would this be like a Bombalurina or something, or a Mr. Mistopheles? It's another Mistopheles.
Well, they do live in some fog, so I feel like Mistopheles is not unwarranted.
Yeah. What was the name of James Corden's cat?
Bustopher Jones.
That sounds like it would be better if they were like another Bustopher is coming up. BJ, I probably can't do that, but still pretty cool. Yeah.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Or they could be, if there's like two different kinds of them, you could call them Mungo Jerry's and Rumple Teasers.
Oh, what was the name of Jason Derulo's cat? That was a good one.
Rum Tum Tugger.
Rum Tum Tugger. Oh yeah, that one's actually too cool. Like that one seems like it would almost work. Yeah, I remember cats.
How could I ever forget?
We haven't had a cats level event in some time.
I think Megalopolis was pretty cats-like.
Yeah, Megalopolis, I think, at least got close.
Yeah, I think pod-wise, we've had pods that are as good, but I don't think as a movie, I don't think Megalopolis caught on the same way Cats did.
Yeah.
Because it was somewhat inaccessible, as opposed to Cats, which I feel like people going into Cats already hated it because the musical sucks. So people were like, oh man, this is going to stink. But you know, it doesn't stink. Being depressed, writing poetry, and then seeing Anya Taylor-Joy chopping wood or whatever across the thing.
Oh my gosh, chainsawing with
You know,
Nando, chainsawing.
That's true.
I wouldn't be a huge fan of that until that last part, and then you got me.
The chainsaw and wood part.
That's right.
Yeah. I do think do you think this is the first time this has ever happened? Guy and girl Gorge situation?
Well, it probably wouldn't have happened in the first few years, at least, because I don't think most militaries let women serve.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, is it like a military stuff, or it's like, oh, we got a crack shot assassin, let's get her to do Gorge?
Well, yeah, she's not. It's not clear entirely what she is, honestly.
No.
Yeah.
You know, I honestly, sorry, real quick, Diggins. I don't mind the show don't tell aspect of we see her do an assassination at the beginning, and then we just let our imaginations run.
Oh, I don't need an explanation for what she is. I was just sort of being like, well, I guess we don't really know.
Yeah, we don't know. Yeah.
I guess for me, if I'm the Gorge man, like if I'm Sigourney Weaver or whatever, I'm like,
that's her title, Gorgeman.
Yeah, we're definitely getting two heterosexual men or something like that. And even then, two heterosexual men that had never even had an, you know, like we're going to hire like Ryan Reynolds to come in the room. And then right as I'm giving the Gorge presentation, you know, comes out of like a steamy shower with a towel around his waist and like, hey, everybody. And then we read Miles Teller's blood pressure or whatever, just to see if anything happens.
Honestly, Nando, maybe you get some asexual men or women to, you know,
That's
just
true.
really
That's true.
make
That's
sure.
a good point.
Yeah.
Although I have a question now.
Mm-hmm.
So presumably when this whole Gorge thing started, and the reason there's the two sides and they're not supposed to talk and all that is because one was set up by the Americans, one was set up by the Russians, and it was the Cold War.
Yeah.
And they were like, this shit is fucked, and we need to keep it contained, but we don't like each other, and we don't trust each other.
Yeah.
But like now, it doesn't have the involvement of either of those governments anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So are they both recruited by Sigourney Weaver?
I don't think Sigourney Weaver. I'm guessing there's a Russian arm of this still that is.
Right, but is it all the company? Is what I mean.
Yeah, it hasn't gone full just like capitalism, because they say that none of the heads of state of the U.S. or Russia are aware of the Gorge.
That could just be because Trump fell asleep during Gorge Day. Like maybe he's supposed to know, and he's like, "This doesn't seem like a me thing. I'm gonna go." And
well, that is
fine.
probably true, but I will say the guy does specify that none of them who have served since 1947 knew about the Gorge.
It's true. I mean, if you were them, if you're like, you know, I don't know, Obama or something, you get elected. I do feel like maybe for a day you go through all the conspiracy theories just to see what's true. Like you read all the flight logs and whatever. But I do think you probably skip the big file that says Gorge. Like, how interesting can this be? And yeah, that doesn't help.
I do think that's a big clue that all the like major conspiracy theories that people really speculate about are not true, because there's no way Trump wouldn't have like said them out loud by now if they were.
100%. I forget which one I was thinking about yesterday that was a conspiracy theory that I was like, oh wait, never mind. Yeah, that would be, he would have said that. Especially when he wasn't president, if he just was trying to, you know, fuck with people, he loves that. He would have, yeah, we would have had a whole thing, and I wouldn't believe him anyway because it's him. So either way, it wouldn't work. But the only way it works is if he says nothing, because then I'm like, well, that can't be a thing. Especially now when he has no impulse control. Do you think Trump would want to be involved with the Gorge? Probably not, right?
I mean, I think he would want to hire the Gorge people. He would want to hire the Hollow Men.
Oh yeah,
the Hollow Men.
True.
They're good at they probably do good podcasts, and they work really hard, and they probably don't complain. So get the Hollow Men in here. We need them to replace all the workers.
Yeah, you'd see all those times that they like threw their bodies at someone who was, you know, machine gunning them all, and was like, this is a Bongino type if there ever was one. I can trust this person to, they'll all fit right under the bus when it's convenient. And Yeah, that's true. Maybe we have some hollow. I mean, listen, maybe that's a conspiracy theory.
I mean,
I haven't, you know.
we definitely have some people in government right now who I would call hollow men.
Mm-hmm.
Because the spiders crawling out of their like rib cage or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the sucking black void where a soul should be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's Congress for you, you know. Yeah. Listen, I know. Yeah. I know we have our differences, and I voted for him. I wouldn't be shocked if Fetterman was a hollow man. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Big old guy.
I like,
you know,
this.
Wearing a big hoodie. What's the hoodie covering, sir? What is it? Your big giant, you know, scorpion chest or whatever. That seems right.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, that's great. I'm glad we got our hollow men representation in Congress. But anyway, so okay. This is the biggest thing I think is so funny about this. So Miles Teller, obviously hunk, especially now, current, you know, post Top Gun hunk. Anya Taylor-Joy, you know, supermodel style actress, like the top of the top.
Lady
These
hunk,
guys,
if you will.
lady hunk, yeah, hunkette. She hunk.
I think we call those babes.
Babe, sure, yeah.
You're gross.
Babes.
That's so gross. How dare you?
It used to be, DJ. They're actually that's the respectful thing now. Bodacious babes. Listen, you think you're better than Keanu? You think you're better than Keanu? You say the bodacious babes? Because I don't personally.
Great
I think
point.
he's a good guy who gets sat on the bus or whatever. So there's this, right? I feel like this movie doesn't even pretend it's going to be about not North, but like East and West conspiracy, you know, is Western paranoia. And these guys aren't actually so different. They're pretty much immediately like, do you want to fuck over the course of a bunch of papers on the Gorge? And I'm happy for them. But I do think maybe that's if you want to make this movie, you know, and if you don't want to have to go to the Gorge halfway through, you do a little bit of that in the beginning. You go, ooh, who's the other Gorge guy? You know, see him. How long do you think, like, she's the one I think who initiates contact, right? She's like, I'm bored doing Gorge stuff.
I'm borged, if you will.
Borged, yeah. She fires not a big, but like a gun in the air to get his attention. Pretty cool.
New Gorge, who dis?
Yeah.
But actually, like, oh, I got something on the Magic 3 ball that just says immaculate handwriting.
Oh my God, yeah. Dude, immaculate handwriting, very similar handwriting too. Both of them from different parts of the world and stuff. I'm like, man, there's just one kind of handwriting and that's it.
I also have a sorry, Magic 3 ball. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. What's this? An infinite supply of paper?
Yeah, what is this for?
Like,
fucking Pictionary or something? What are we doing here?
Who's bringing that? Miles Teller has a white erase board, so perfect. But Anya Taylor-Joy is like a big, it's a big, like, you know,
like a big, like, architect sketch pad.
Or, yeah. But like, clearly an infinite supply. She is writing hundreds of, if not thousands of notes, like over the course of Gorge, not in that one night, but like, there's a lot of time.
They both have sniper rifles and scopes and stuff. She could just write normal notes and like a normal size note and just hold it up and be like, use your scope.
Like circle. Yeah.
Yeah. But instead,
he has to use it anyway. They're too far away for even the big font to really read.
Yeah. So what's going on? Like, I mean, lucky her. She has lots of paper. And he does say that the Russian one is stocked better than the American one. Maybe that means in paper too. But
just a whole basement full of pads of paper, just in case.
Right? Like, you figure that would be what you get in, like, I don't know, the Irish one or the Parisian Gorge, where you're expecting to create the next, you know, Monet or the next James Joyce or something. But it doesn't feel like our American Gorge. Yeah. And definitely not the Russian Gorge are going to be really excited about expression.
The Russian Gorge could be the next Tolstoy or Dostoevsky.
That's true, and that's why I want so much paper.
If they're musically inclined.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Vladimir Nabokov.
I think they should have done semaphore. Just make flags.
Oh, that would have been so funny.
Much funnier.
Yeah. I mean, also super lucky that she writes in English. pretty well too. Like,
oh yeah,
perfect English.
yeah, you'd have I would imagine that would also be part of the Gorge, selection process. It's just like, you don't speak English, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
it's like they recruited them to fall in love in the Gorge and destroy the Gorge. Like,
we've had too many fucking Gorge incidents. We gotta fix
I mean,
this.
Even again, like, just knowing you have hired two heterosexual people of the opposite gender who are both really hot.
Yeah.
It's like, and they're going to be alone for a year through boredom alone.
Yeah, right.
Like, something's going to happen there.
Yeah. Yeah. And she just is like, what's your name? And he's like, I can't talk to you.
Yeah, don't fucking talk to me.
And then she's like, shut the fuck up, nerd. And he's like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
And then they just talk forever.
You're right.
Like,
sorry.
Yeah. Play games and stuff. Play shooting games.
They
cool.
play chess and play drums. And actually, hold on. I have another Magic 3-ball here. It says Dance Dance Soviet Revolution.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
I want to talk about the needle drops.
Okay, let's talk about the needle drops.
Yeah, let's talk about them.
So I believe this first one is Blitzkrieg Bop.
Yep.
Yes. That's right.
Oh.
Because it's one of those musics. I bet they license that shit to whoever asks for it,
That's a great point.
You hear it in so much stuff. And good for them. It gets around, We've all heard it, even though it's a song from like the 80s. It isn't that exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And doesn't really fit the energy of this sequence.
No, God, no.
Yeah, it's somewhat like rebellious a little bit, but not really.
Also, not to nitpick, but like, despite the name, it's not really a bop.
No, it's not. That's back when bop meant like bop on the head, like bop.
Oops, there goes another rubber tree plant, right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, why does she have music? Because she's cool. Hers is cooler.
The Russian one is cool.
She has a record player.
Yeah, she does have a record player.
Which is how you know she's like cool and authentic, even though record players aren't like a thing anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like, actually, they're like hugely a thing because everyone loves record players. It's how you tell people you're cool and authentic.
It's how you tell people that.
I do tell people that with my record player.
You have no other way of knowing.
That tracks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like the tracks that you play on your records.
Like the tracks that I play on my records, yeah. And I don't play records a lot. That's the thing. I should, because I have a record player. I have records I like, but it's too much work. But yeah, they fall in love in the Gorge. Isn't that great? Over music and culture and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
Pretty
then, what happens?
Well, okay. Well, before that, I do want to do a little shakety shake because they get not shake shake, but just like kind of go in the direction. We get a Gorge incursion on like day 3 or something, or like immediately.
I think it's the first day they talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this appears to be the find out of the fuck around and find out. Like, she's blasting fucking music and like they're just like goofing around. And of course the Hollow Men will be like, oh, if they're not taking this seriously, we're gonna fucking just like rush these motherfuckers. These guys are idiots. Because they don't take Gorge seriously.
I believe the Blitzkrieg Bop is diegetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She has like a big I think she has like a radio or something.
It's a big old speaker.
Just
yeah. Like hangs it out. Like, as if they're like, we ain't guarding shit. This is all bullshit. We're being pranked. Let's just like fucking party because Gorge isn't real. Gorge is propaganda.
Yeah.
I do. Sorry. I just want to say, I do love when there are, in American movies, there are like foreign characters. And when foreign characters love music, they always love American music. So we don't have to like learn what other cultures' music is.
It's like how in Star Trek, they're always like, my favorite kind of culture was 2025. Let's play the song from then. And it's like, man, there's better culture, I hope, coming down the pipe, right? But no, it's like, we were the peak of civilization whenever the Star Trek came out. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. She also doesn't, I guess she kind of reads as like, maybe, I don't know, offbeat, kind of an old soul. But like, I bet Anya Taylor-Joy listens to fucking Taylor Swift like the rest of humanity. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
She probably
Nothing wrong
listens
with
to
that.
your Chapel's Roan and your
Yeah.
Sabrina's Carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then I don't think, but the fact that it's Blitzkrieg Bop, like that is a post Gorge song. So someone brought that. If it was only music from like the 30s and 40s and like they stocked the Gorge with, you know, the Big Bopper or whatever, I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But
Around.
someone at some point brought their CDs and their DVDs and left them, which is nice of them.
Well, we did skip over it, but there's a reason
Yeah.
they left them.
Well, but they didn't know that, right? They should be in the woods or something. They take them with them and then they go. But either way, yeah, we do see the guy from Gorge. He like, because when the first guy who's at the Gorge quits Gorge, or like it's like, all right, cool, I get to go home. It's sick. He like packs up his bag and goes into the woods to get picked up by a helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
And does the fucking, I don't remember what it is, but it's so stupid. Whatever they ask him.
They're
They're
I
like,
need to confirm your name.
Yeah.
Or your identity. I think it's identity. I need you to confirm your identity. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Disarming.
It's very suspicious. I feel like if I'm going into the Gorge, I'm thinking 50% chance they're killing me at the end of Gorge, right? You just
Right,
kind of,
yeah.
But like, here's my thing. So they recruit people for a year to go guard the Gorge.
Mm-hmm.
Also, separate from that, they're a shadowy organization with their own goons who do non-Gorge things.
Mm-hmm.
right.
You'd think the Gorge people would be their main source of recruiting because they already know about the Gorge.
That's true.
Yeah, that's a good point. Great point, Diggins.
Like, if they have a group of evil people who are cool with the Gorge existing and like its true purpose or whatever, why don't those people just guard the Gorge?
Yeah.
Why do people guard the Gorge? This
Well,
thing
'cause
can
they-
be completely automated.
Well,
Like
you would need someone on site to maintain it. Like,
But, like-
I think that's true.
They make it seem like this clandestine, like, oh, it's like this is where like the reality blows up with the mystery. It's like it must be this clandestine, like CIA type operation, but it's run by a corporation that has unlimited
Yeah.
resources. Like they don't need a big old cement tower. Like they can just put like a bunch of robotic dogs and drones and have a dude
That's
in an
true.
outpost 30 miles away monitoring it. And then like airdrop is necessary. You don't need people here, and people increase the risk. Like if you're a company that is actually interested in keeping like the integrity of the Gorge for secrecy, you stop having people like 15 years ago. You have unlimited resources. Like you have other options. It's fucking crazy.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a good point.
Thank you.
I feel like this whole movie should just be an email of like, we should make a big robot Gorge machine. Yeah, you're right. But especially because like it's not like they also, well, I guess the only reason you don't do that, because I agree, I think that makes sense. You have to hide the Gorge with the scanners. So you need to be a guy. You need at least one guy to be like, stuff got out of the Gorge today, to tell you that, because it can't be computers. No, it totally can't.
No,
because
it
the
can be
little
satellites.
drones.
They just block satellites. You could totally have localized cameras and stuff sending back a feed, even if it was long LAN cables. Like it'd be a little ridiculous, but
Yeah, that's
less
true.
ridiculous than bringing people to Gorge. It's the
Mhm.
stupidest idea.
Yeah,
Doesn't make any sense.
it doesn't make any sense. Yeah,
I'm here to be a truth teller.
and that's a good point. We got to
Speak
get them.
truth to power.
It's my main purpose.
And I think they're gonna, I feel like there's probably a Gorge out there or something. And I hope our government does a better job at Gorge than this movie. Don't waste any man's time with the Gorge. Just
These people did
make it
horrible with
robots.
Gorge.
Yeah, they fucked it all up. They botched the Gorge. I do want to say, I saw an interview about Gorge because, okay, so the Hollow Men come up and yeah, the robot things go. Darcy and Whiplash both activate their little guns and then just light it up, blow up everything. Like I think we get way too good of a look at these guys, like for a movie about a mystery thing.
Yeah.
40 minutes
There's no mystery about them after their first appearance. We see them.
Yeah.
I mean,
And it's
oh, sorry, go ahead, Nando.
it's the point where I think it was my first point where I was like, oh, is this going to be bad? Like this, they're just going to fuck this up because they don't get this part of it, which should be fun. They want jump scares, and that's bad. A bad impulse.
Yeah.
I
was less critical only because I think there was still like enough mystery. It's like, okay, you see the guys. Actually, I guess in the moment I'm like, well, this is a snapshot to some like bigger thing, but it turns out no, it's not. It's just the guys.
Yeah.
But I guess like in the moment I wasn't disappointed, but I get in retrospect, yeah, it's kind of a letdown.
Like I think you could get away with this scene if the Gorge warning went up or something, but we never saw what it was, and the machine started shooting it, and then it, whatever it was, didn't make it through the fog. And we were like, what's trying to get up through the gorge? We never knew. And we're like, but they probably can hear us, so there's probably something to do with this music.
Yeah.
Which, you know, should be one of those things that for some reason is used again in the movie, but they don't bother. School them.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they do play music again, but this time it doesn't attract hollow men.
Yeah. Also, in this explosions and stuff, when the hollow men are coming, Darsha gets what should be mortally injured. Big giant piece of shrapnel right over to her heart.
Yeah.
Has this not happened before? Because when the guys are coming up the gorge, they tell you, go get on like the little precipice of the gorge and fire your big giant gun at them. And it's like, but then you're right next to all the mines. And if one of the mines explodes, which is going to happen because you're shooting at it and stuff, or the other guy apparently is, then you're fucked. Like, so this isn't a good system.
Yeah, I mean, well, for several reasons, this is a bad system, but yeah, that kind of compounds it. Who's bringing in the fresh mines too? I still have questions about how they're restocking and repairing. Like, Miles Teller didn't bring mines, right? Maybe Anya Taylor-Joy got her side, but we see way less of hers. But
maybe he gets like airdrop deliveries of new mines every week.
Yeah, or maybe he would have gotten those in a couple of weeks, but they didn't make it that long. Like they made it a while, but maybe that would have been like
6 months, I think.
Yeah, maybe that would have been like a month 7 thing,
right?
And it would have been all kinds of cool shit. But look at them; they blew up the gorge instead. Not cool, guys.
They
need to do that.
They need the Hunger Games style care packages where they just kind of get sent right to the guys.
And it's not like they don't have the technology for that, because we will say when they're repairing the gorge, a little robot comes out of the gorge, flies around, and then leaves. And Darsha has her like gun trained on this thing, and she looks at it, and Miles Teller looks at it because he's like repairing the thing, and they both just shrug shoulders. They're like, I guess that's supposed to leave the gorge. Of course it's not.
Yeah,
why are we letting that go?
Shoot it down or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Shoot its little wings so it falls down, and then you see it, and one of you has to investigate it, and you're like, what is this? But no, they're just like, there's no way that those guys could have built whatever the fuck this is, so can't be part of it.
Might as well be a goddamn mystery. Who gives a fuck? You know, right?
So stupid. But I mean, like, lucky for them, that is part of it. That's part of the gorge.
I have a magic 8-ball that I briefly missed, but I had a lot of nitpicky stuff. I really need to upgrade my nitpicking quotient with this one. At least the 8-ball did. You know, when they're first doing the little intro and they're taking their little assault rifles and they're like shooting the bottles or whatever. No fucking way are they making those with a 1 bullet hit with an assault rifle. Sniper, fine, but assault rifle, you're not gonna get that kind of like accuracy with that.
Wow, DJ just doesn't believe that they're as good shots as they are.
That's not what
especially Anya Taylor-Joy, because she's a woman and women can't be good at shooting.
Not what I said at
That's
all.
That's what DJ said now.
Okay, just being misrepresented is totally fine, I guess.
I mean,
welcome to fake America, ladies and gentlemen. Fucking A.
Maybe this is something that happens at every Gorge experience. They both get bored and then try to do like a shooting challenge off each other's head, and they're both killed by it. And then they have to get replaced. And this is just a lucky thing where they both didn't kill each other, and then this is the time that worked. So, you know, unusual but possible technically in a world with infinite possibilities. I also think, Yeah, that is a pretty crazy thing to do.
If they're using their snipers, I think it's fine. I just think with the assault rifles that you're just not hitting it, right? It's just you can't get that level of accuracy at that range, right? Just not happening. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
Anyway, so then we have Gorge dates. This is a little bit of Gorge date time.
I love Gorge dates.
Mm-hmm.
So Gorge dates. I mean, I have to shake the thing so many times. I'm just gonna say this fucking sucks. I mean, it's good. I like this part of the movie. It makes no sense for Gorge. Why does either Gorge have a chessboard? Chessboard, 2-player activity, right? Are we trying to foster Gorge friendships and love affairs and stuff? Like, I don't understand that even a little bit.
There are people who practice chess against themselves.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Get a better feel of the board.
It just feels like you're asking for trouble with that. Like, I'll give them all a little, little scope so they can see each other. And then we'll also give them a couple of board games that Candyland and shit. And then we'll see what happens, Maybe they'll fall in love. And then I also say they do drums. Apparently, both Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy were like, we didn't do this on purpose. We both saw this in the script and we're like, no, I'm not doing chess and he's not doing drums. But then we forgot to make a big deal out of it. And then we did it in the movie anyway. Because she's Queen's Gambit and he's Little Whiplash. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a thing on IMDb about this that like was in like the trivia. So that was in the script before both of them were casted, and apparently they asked like, hey, can we like take this out because it's like too meta, and the director was like, no, I love it, we're leaving it in.
Yeah, that's why I said that thing exactly 1 minute ago. But yes, correct.
Shit, really, I'm sorry.
I'm sure you were finding it and I was like, or it's one of those things where you were reading it at the time to make sure it was what you were going to say. And
it's hard.
Exactly what my voice.
We don't always have proof that I'm not. This is going to be so funny to listen back to. We don't always have proof that I'm not listening on the podcast, but there's a lot of times where I'm not listening. So
that's fair.
That sucks, bro.
He's thinking about the Gorge. He's thinking about whatever what would your Gorge activities be that would make you fall in love with someone on the other side of the Gorge?
If they were also playing solo board games, and I was like, oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah.
You're the coolest person.
DJ would like fire his gun in the air and then they'd look over and it would say like, you can't take a green wheat token until you've crossed over the minor and they're like, oh fuck, sorry. And then he'd write a whole new thing like, no, you're supposed to take 2 wood tokens. Okay. I don't think I understand this game. Oh man. What about you, Diggins? What would be your Gorge activity?
Oh man, that's a great question.
To fall in love over Gorge.
Fall in love over Gorge. I guess it would have to be something. You know what? We'd play a game of diplomacy, have high stakes political negotiations via Gorge signs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Would you guys each be each other's countries as like a bit? Would you be Lithuania?
Yeah,
and she
I'd
gets
be
to be
America. She would be Russia.
Oh no, you got to switch. You got to take hers and put on a silly Russia hat and stuff, and smoke cigar or whatever they do.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
What about you, Nando? What makes you fall in love with someone in the Gorge?
I think it would have to be.
What if we kissed in the Gorge? Just less.
Yeah, I feel like it would be. I do think I like Snowman. I like Art Project. I think the problem is, considering they have infinite time, their snowmen both kind of suck. Like, it feels like his was kind of like, he was like, oh, fuck, we got to do snowmen today. I'll put a snowman together. But one of them should have a really, like, an objectively way better snowman than the other one. And that's how that, little gag is fun. But then also, it's good that he didn't, I feel like maybe he played it safe. I was like, I could put a boobs on the snowman, but I don't know. I feel like that might be a little much.
Give this snowman some shapely hips.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to get canceled in the Gorge.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, how do you make the snowman big giant eyes and little tiny mouth or whatever it is that Anya Taylor-Joy has? Like, make real big
how do I remove
or whatever.
All the buccal fat from this snowman?
Yeah, he's because I do think Miles Teller really just like kind of generic looking guy in terms of like, he's like, handsome obviously, but like Anya Taylor-Joy is one of those people who looks like Anya Taylor-Joy, and like there's people that look like her, like we were saying, from last week, Sophie Thatcher, who I describe as an Anya Taylor-Joy type now, or at least I did during Heretic, like when that came out, because I was like, oh, yeah, it's kind of what they're going for. I would say she's got more of like a, she's not like pretender or anything, but
I would call her a Juliette Lewis type personally.
Oh, that would be a way to describe. Yeah, that's fair. Is that who she grows up to be on the Yellow Jackets?
Yes.
Fascinating. I mean, I kind of assumed she was Christina Ricci, just having known that they're both in the thing.
No, Christina Ricci is like blonde, curly haired in the show.
Yeah, well, I guess I figured Sophie Thatcher had blonde hair or something. Or she got a new hairstyle in the 40 years since whatever Yellow Jacketing.
But no, Christina Ricci is a different character. And also, God, she sucks so bad on that show. I love her.
Cool.
Like, Christina Ricci is an incredible actress. Her character is a horrible person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard. I'm thinking about maybe getting into that. I found a new show this week, so that's taken a lot of my time, but I could see Yellow Jackets being fun. I love Christina Ricci from whatchamacallit, from Casper as a child. That was like one of my favorite movies. Did you guys see the Casper movie?
I have seen it. It's been a long time.
But like the live action Casper movie from the 90s.
The Gary
Christina
Casper
Ricci.
movie where about the chess. Gary
No.
Kasparov?
Kasparov, yeah. No, it's like it was Bill Pullman and her, and it's like they had like Casper was CGI and kind of goofy looking. Like he looks like he does in the cartoons or comics or whatever he's known for. Comic strips, I guess, originally. But it was right when they were going like, wait, we can do shit with CGI. Let's do this. And honestly, it didn't look too bad. There's a point, not to spoil it, where the ghosts trick Bill Pullman into killing himself. It's pretty weird. But they're bad guys, some of the ghosts. It's kind of sad little movie, honestly. But I remember being really into it. I don't know why. But it's pretty cool. But yeah, so Anya Taylor-Joy and him do Gorge activities.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, he, as like a surprise to her, which I think is so funny, hooks up a big giant like RPG, takes all the stuff out of it, puts a big coil on it, and then shoots it over to her. Doesn't tell her he's doing this, just one day aims the RPG at her thing and then goes for it. She's
but
like
go ahead, Diggins.
I got something on the Magic 3-ball here. It says that Anya Taylor Jussie got me acting unwise.
Yeah.
So, guys, let's be 100% honest here. This is a safe space. This is a truth zone. As
all podcasts are these days.
All podcasts are.
Especially probably the number one podcast, I'm going to guess, Safe Space Truth Zone or something. That sounds like, with Rudy Giuliani.
If Lithuanian goth Anya Taylor-Joy sent you the babe, come over, my parents aren't at my gorge text, would you fire an RPG with a grappling hook over the side of the gorge and then climb across the gorge filled with hollow men so you could go see her?
So the answer is yes, but I'm definitely dying in the process. And even if I'm Miles Teller level, Marine guy, there's no way I'm not blowing myself up when I'm taking out the RPG stuff. Like maybe he was like an ordnance explosives guy. He could have done everything. I thought his, thing was sniper, but whatever. But I'm blowing myself up, or I'm not doing the thing right. Because also he has a lot of trust in her that she gets a fire extinguisher, puts out the fire because there's still the fire from the propellant, and but also ties a pretty solid knot, right? If it's me, something's getting fucked up along the way and I'm dead. But am I trying? Fuck yes.
Wow, DJ, are you telling me that you, Eagle Scout extraordinaire, would not be able to tie a good knot?
I mean, maybe the tying the knot is not where I'm failing, but there's some other point along this journey that I'm failing. Maybe I'm propelling myself on the zip line, but then my arms get tired and I'm like, fuck, I'm stuck out here. I'm not not making it either way. Damn it.
Yeah, you're just taking out one of your guns and ending it. This is going to be too much work. to get back to the other side or her side. Fuck it. I'm tired of Gorge stuff. It's 6 months.
Nando,
I don't do the carabiner right. I just fall to my death. What about you guys?
Well, Nando, what would you do for the Anya Taylor-Joy?
In a heartbeat, but I'm taking everything and I'm not going back. There's no way I'm going back to Gorge. I'm just going to hope that the Lithuanian group of Gorge managers are chiller than the U.S. managers, and they'll just take me home too. Or I'll just hike around the Gorge. There's got to be some way to get around the Gorge eventually.
She says it's all mined and trapped and stuff, and that's why you can't go across it that way.
Oh, wait. Even like if you just walked outside of it, like... They walk outside of the Gorge eventually.
Well, no, they go opposite directions.
Yeah.
Right. But like I would take a month maybe and just hike in an opposite direction around,
Oh, just like take a really long route around?
Yeah, like I can see a version of this story where in the first day I'm like, fuck, hell yeah, I'm going to go have dinner. And she's got better, cooler shit than I do. I can play chess in real life. It's amazing. All the things you want to do. But then the second day, I'm like, I'm not going to fucking do this again. I just got lucky that first time. So yeah, I'm taking a nice little hike around the Gorge. I don't know. I assume like, as long as I make it to my little call, I'm good. Right? Like she could handle the Gorge. I don't need to do any Gorge shit. It's fucking stupid. The whole Gorge is dumb. But yeah, absolutely. I would definitely die. Like DJ was saying, it's really hard to do this. My arms would get really tired and stuff. But I would definitely do it if for no other reason, just I'd get really, really bored. In like 3 days, I would be like, I have to escape my Gorge prison. And is what it is. What about you, Diggins? You whatever, scaling the Gorge or
am I
not
risking
scaling?
it all?
What's the word? Yeah.
Absolutely. There is no other situation other than a Gorge scenario in which Anya Taylor-Joy is even capable of perceiving me.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's true. Yeah.
Like I have to try.
Mm-hmm. I do think part of it too is like if anything, my one thing is like, is this part of it? Like, is the Gorge tricking me with evil? Probably not. B, is the Russian Gorge team trying to trick me into leaving my Gorge post for some reason? And that would be the only thing that I'd be like, maybe she's gonna kill me. But again, I think I'd still try. Whatever.
I'd let Anya Taylor-Joy kill me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Same.
I mean, she was magic in New Mutants. I think if I knew that, I'd be like, I gotta ask her about New Mutants. That shit was crazy, How many reshoots? What was this part originally? I hear Antonio Banderas was in it. Can you comment on Anya Taylor-Joy? It's gonna be a great video when I get back to non-Gorge stuff. But yeah, they have like a little date, a Gorge date. They like have sex and stuff.
She makes
in the Gorge.
him run naked across the yard so she can look at his big old dick.
Yeah, which like, man, if I'm Miles Teller, there's like, who gives a shit? You're fucking hunk Miles Teller. Go for it. Just be like, yeah, whatever. We're going to have sex later, right? I feel like I'm kind of reading this situation, right? So, cool. But he does the little like, ooh, I'm so modest thing. And yeah, they talk about stuff. I can't remember what any of it is, but it's probably, poetry. Oh yeah, he tells her he's a poet and he's reading her a poem and stuff.
And they talk about how good they are at shooting people.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's the bit where he's like, someone did a shot that's so good. Did you do it? And he's like, kind of, maybe, who knows? And you're like, well, okay, but whatever. It was probably the American Sniper. He has all of our records, right? Dan, what's his name?
I don't remember the real guy's name. Kyle something?
Yeah, Kyle, you're right. Chris Kyle, the American Sniper, has all those records that he made up because that's how it goes. You just say it. You go like, I got that guy. A million miles away. Pretty impressive. So, pretty cool. But yeah, he goes back the next day to Gorge, like to
after they
Gorge.
Fuck.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, hang out for a weekend, whatever.
Well, I think they do have a call that day, so he's like, I gotta go back so that they don't kill me.
Well, but if you're on the Lithuanian side of Gorge, to Nando's point, I think you're good. check in, whatever. Because they probably think you're dead or something, right? They don't assume you've defected, right? Like,
yeah, just have the Lithuanian person call and be like, "Oh my God, the guy fell into the gorge because of all the things we've already discussed that are pretty poorly put together."
Fucking minds you guys have, Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
So he's dead, body in the gorge. Send someone else. Whoops.
Yeah. And then you'd have to dress me up. Because I imagine Anya Taylor-Joy still has to live for 6 months in the gorge or however long I think she gets there a little bit later than him, but more or less around the same time.
No, he actually says on the first day he shows up, the other guy's like, I saw some movement on the other side. They must have done the new people the same day.
So then if that's the case, then you have her dress you up as like, I don't know, a refrigerator or a couch or something. So you can hang out with her without your new gorge replacement seeing you.
Well, you just don't go outside a lot, right? Like, because the only reason that this starts is because, like, I feel like Anya Taylor-Joy starts it, right? I feel like Miles Teller would have been happy to just like,
Yeah, but the towers do seem to have very open floor plans.
Yeah. It would be funny though if Miles Teller gets replaced by, like, I don't know, some other Miles Teller type, Zac Efron, Michael B. Jordan, whatever, and then they start sending messages
by Pedro Pascal.
Oh, that would be something. That would be
with a small child,
or that Welsh guy,
or who's I gonna say? What's the name? What's that guy from fucking Top Gun? Who's his new nemesis in Top Gun? Maverick.
Oh yeah,
that guy who I used to think was a star, and then I watched all the stuff, and now I'm like, I didn't really like Hitman. Glenn Powell. Yeah, Glenn Powell shows up, and I think Glenn Powell would come in with like Glenn Powell energy, and she'd be like, I don't want to talk to you about Gorge stuff. And he'd be like, something's up because I'm Glenn Powell. And then he'd start like walking around naked and stuff on his side of the gorge. It'd be really annoying, embarrassing. Although, I guess you on the gorge could just pretend to be Russian on the other side and be like, they sent 2 of us, a Russian and Lithuanian. Whatever. They didn't say you would send 2, but I guess maybe you did.
Who would brief the new Miles Teller guy?
That's true.
That's true. All the institutional knowledge would be lost.
God, this gorge system's so bad. He would get to the gorge and then go, I guess all these little hints on the wall are all I have. So I need to like look inside my soul for guidance about the universe or whatever. Because, everybody that goes to the gorge gets one line of poetry that they get to write.
Yep.
And, like, poetry is a quote, so, whatever, on the gorge wall. Or not the gorge wall, the little base wall. Which is cool of them.
And they hide it behind the bookshelf for no reason.
Yep. Yeah, and when Sigourney Weaver, who, I guess, like, can't monitor them in the gorge, but totally could, should be able to send her little drone guy with a camera in to see what's going on. Into his thing. Seems to see this and is like, what is that? When she does eventually, spoiler alert, get to the gorge. And I'm like, did you not think you guys like are asking so much of these people? So much of the gorge would be broken shit and like, I don't know, it would just be a mess.
Yeah, it's true.
But I don't know, especially because I don't know, I'm not fucking folding my bed sheets when I'm living in the gorge and stuff.
Come on.
Who
am I trying to impress?
Mess. Exactly.
That's a good point, actually.
Besides Darsha, but I'm gonna hide the bed sheet part of my little.
Well,
house
listen,
so
you just go to her place.
Yeah,
her place doesn't have to be nice if you always go to hers.
That's true.
And it's one of those things where she's like, why can't we go to your place? And it's like, oh man, you guys have all the best CDs here. Your apartment's just better than mine.
Better vodka, right?
My apartment sucks.
Should see my place, man.
Yeah,
awful.
Honestly,
there's broken glass everywhere because I'm knocking glasses over every night because I wake up and I have this like weird PTSD that the movie doesn't really want to address, but is there, but not really omnipresent. Kind of goes away.
Yeah, it's a big part of the movie until the movie starts being about evil bug guys, and then it kind of becomes about that instead. But cool, I guess. Yeah, and then I imagine because of their raucous lovemaking, some creatures from the gorge were summoned by the music or whatever, and then
they can feel the powerful aura. Of having just had sex.
And then, as Miles Teller is traversing, going back to the gorge, he again, because of how stupid this is, a mine is set off, and then that explodes his little what's it called, zip line, whatever, that he's manufactured, and he just falls into the gorge. Now he has a parachute which he is able to open. We see him do that. So then Darsha grabs a couple of things and also parachutes into the gorge.
Yeah. How sweet.
And we've had sorry.
No, I was gonna say, that's so sweet that like that happens.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, we've seen a couple of characters, like the first guy talked about this. I think they talked about it a little bit. Ask, what do you think is in the gorge, man? And it's like, it's the hell. It's as close to hell as we get on Earth and stuff.
It's the gates to hell. And we're keeping anything from getting out.
Yeah. And so she goes into the gorge and just immediately almost drowns. It's such a bummer if you were Miles Teller and you got out of the gorge. She's like, Darsha, I made it. And then she's like, I'm dead in the gorge.
Nando, I legitimately can't tell if you just don't remember her name or if you're doing that on purpose.
Now the bit's great. Perfect.
No. Here's what it is. I know her name's not Darsha, but I can't remember what her real name is, so I'm just going with that one. I've given
just
up.
say Courage. That's her name's Courage.
Courage, the cowardly. Yeah.
Lithuanian.
I mean, listen, the gorge would wreck. This is exactly what Courage deals with every day.
That's true.
You know,
well,
big
but then that
giant
would
spider
mean
head
Courage,
man.
Courage would wreck the gorge. Like, he would be scared and cry and like not look cool, but he always wins in the end.
That is true. Yeah, he would make it out of the gorge okay.
Which is why I relate very heavily to Courage the Cowardly Dog. I also don't, even when I succeed, I don't look cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not like Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy, who just they have some pretty like backbreaking falls and stuff, but overall it's very like, you point your gun and do a badass fucking, I don't know, pose. Now I don't want to get in too much into this because I don't know, it's not that exciting. But then there's about 20 minutes of gorge madness. Like fucking, they walk into a thing and then it turns out that thing's a big thing, and then they walk into another thing and that thing's a big guy.
I will say, other than the main guys, which is disappointing, I like a lot of the design here for the gorge monsters. There's the like ribcage Venus man trap. There's the like skull spiders and stuff. Like that stuff's cool.
If only they committed. Because I agree, Diggins. Like, we see those in drips and drabs, but like, it's almost like the movie's like, we're going to show this to you once, and then, but mostly it's like skeleton people, right? Because
they're not even skeleton people. They're just kind of like dudes who kind of look like trees.
Yeah, they're like Davy Jones's guys in those in the second Pirates movie.
But it's a pretty uninspired design from that. Like, those guys are pretty uninspired design. So it's like,
even their horses are like kind of fucked up in a way that's kind of cool.
Yeah, can we talk about that, by the way? So they said, that 3 balls vibrating so much I can't even hold it. Oh, I dropped it.
No.
So
I hope it isn't broken.
It'll be fine. He says that, in like 47, they sent down a bunch of cavalry. I assumed like cavalry of that time, which like, I don't think they actually rode horses, and they definitely didn't have cutlasses. Like, cavalry has evolved to be more like guys in like armored cavalries and stuff like that. Things like tanks and like howitzers. Like, I don't even think in the Cold War era, they were going down with horses and cutlasses. Like, that just seems very wrong.
Yeah.
So
the last cavalry charge made on horseback by the U.S. Army took place in 1942.
Okay, so objectively wrong.
Yeah.
So the fuck was that about?
I don't know, because this reminded me, speaking of Pirates of the Caribbean, because these guys really reminded me, and a lot of the fighting in this reminded me of that Jungle Cruise movie. Remember the bad guys in that were like, Pizarro types from like, like conquistadors. Yeah, well, and then they got also kind of melded into the forest bullshit.
The jungle.
They're the jungle, of course, yeah. But yeah, they also had swords, and it was like, well, that makes sense because they're, conquistadors or whatever. But yeah, I don't know why there was a sword, but I kind of figured when one had a sword, I'm like, oh, this is going to be like a big, spine or something. But no, it's like a little sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's like organic, like DNA. Well, we'll talk about
that.
Yeah, we're almost there.
It's like they got a little confused and thought that it was World War I when they were writing this part of the movie.
Yeah. The only other thing I want to point out about the Gorge that I think is really interesting, and this is something I only know because I'm cool and hip and young. One of the things that they did in the most recent season of Fortnite is create these biomes where, like, literally you walk 1 foot from a night zone into a day zone, and then it just changes from night to day. The Gorge is like color coded, with like it's a rave or something.
Yeah, it has the piss filter on it.
But then you walk like through it like it's Wizard of Oz into the purple night filter, and then you walk through that into the red filter. It's an interesting effect. I think if the Gorge, I think that's my one problem with the design aesthetic of the Gorge. I think it feels kind of all over the place.
Mm-hmm. I get that.
And if it had one color and one, I don't know, something a little bit more cohesive, I think I'd appreciate that. Because I don't mind the lighting. It's just there one bit where they just walk right into a different bit. But yeah, they go to a church. We learn and see stuff, and we're like, oh my God, there's guys here that died. And then, they run into a big bunker, safety bunker. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the bunker.
It's good that it's here.
It is good that it's here. It's good that it's here. It's like unlocked and stuff. And it's got a video about the Gorge, which is handy.
Yeah, I actually, the Magic 3 ball, I picked it up off the ground. It's telling me something right now. It's telling me that we just found the Resident Evil lab.
Yeah! For real. Yeah, do you want to describe the lab, Diggins, all the stuff in it?
I mean, if you've ever played any survival horror video game, you've seen this lab. They go in, it's all abandoned, and there's like dead stuff in it, and you're like, what happened here? And then you find the audio log or the file or whatever it is, and you turn that on, and there's the scientist that's like, we thought we were doing a cool and good thing, but the cool and good thing went bad, and now it's awful, and I'm sorry. Now I'm going to leave this on an ambiguous note that implies maybe I killed myself, but you can't be sure. But yeah, so what it is specifically, for those curious, is this was like some secret World War II lab where the Allies were working on the like bio warfare version of the Manhattan Project.
Yeah, gotta plug like, Oppenheimer. Big movie from a couple years ago.
That's right. The Gorge and Oppenheimer for your next double feature.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they want.
So they're like, we were trying to do cool experiments to make bio monsters, but then there was an earthquake and all our biogas got out and turned everybody in the Gorge into bio monsters, including me.
Biogas, by the way, and oh god, it's vibrating again. We got to pick a different implement. This wheel might have to come back.
I don't think so.
No.
Not after what it did.
We all have our own opinion.
Maybe it's been in the Gorge and maybe it mutated though. Who knows? We'll see next week. Yeah.
So she's like, if you're only exposed for a few hours, you're fine. But if you're exposed for like more than that, you're probably fucked. And what I want to know is, how do they know that? How do they know you're fine if only after a few hours? Did some people like get out okay?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Maybe the biogas didn't get into the bunker, and so they like sealed off the bunker and they observed from there, but then they eventually starved to death. Or
I was gonna say, where did those people go? Yeah.
Some people who weren't fine. Because she says some people are stronger against it than others, and the people who are stronger can be exposed for a few hours and be okay.
You're Anya's Taylor-Joy. You're Miles' Teller.
Yeah, the hunkier and babier you are, the more bodacious and the more, You
guys got to really hit the in babe. It's bib.
Bib, yeah.
Bib.
Yeah. I feel like babe. How does he bodacious babe? I feel like that would be how.
Bodacious
babe. I guess so. Keanu called in, or the other guy, Alex. What is his name? The whoever
Winter.
Played Bill, Alex Winter. Yeah, either of them could call in and let us know. But I do think it is. What I would imagine is the answer to that question is, before everything exploded, they were just doing tests on randos to see if they could
Right.
turn them into gorge monsters, which that makes sense. My bigger question with all the gorge stuff is like, and because we see like the gorge is a gorge full of gorge, you know, it's all everything's fucked. Everything you're gonna see, like a tree and a big bug or whatever. They go to like what it seems to be the gorge factory and shit. I assume you can do an hour in the gorge, just anywhere in the gorge, and probably survive. I feel like if you walk through the gorge factory, it's like walking through, you know, like it's like riding the X-ray machine. Yeah, you just can't do that. Which is why when they say this, they say, and this is the little thing that the character that is not played by Eva Green, but when I watched it seemed like she was, says you get after 5 days. You've quarantined for 5 days, and if you have not grown an extra arm or whatever, you are free. You're safe from gorge stuff, which is one of those things that in a movie you say because someone's gonna get gorge stuff at the very end, and it's gonna be a little thing, right. You know. And maybe I like that it. Spoiler alert: that doesn't happen because it's such a weird way to subvert that, but it does feel like just another Chekhov's gun this movie forgot about. Or was, you know, taken out. I don't know if they do
Chekhov, another movies. Russian who could have benefited from some gorge time,
and who loved his guns. You know, everybody knows Chekhov only put that gun in the play because he was a big sniper from the army, right. Maybe, probably. And yeah, so they see that they do the little gorge presentation, or they watch the gorge video, and then they're like, "We got to get out of the gorge." One thing about the gorge that we forgot. Anya Taylor-Joy, when she went down to rescue Miles Teller, brought an auto ascender, which is like a little clip. Right. You would put it on the cord that is all the way down to the bottom of the gorge, and then you would ride that up, and then that'd be fine. But it fell into the water when she fell because she didn't have a lot of time to put the whole gorge pack together. My one question about gorges: are gorges usually deeper than they are wide?
Oh God, I think probably
they're usually characterized by deepness.
Yeah. That's what I figure, right? So if he is halfway through the gorge on his rope, and then the rope explodes, he falls down the gorge. Oh, yeah. That rope is not at gorge level when they land.
Yeah, I see the
especially, issue. You know what? And especially if he's able to parachute down, and we can see what the length of that wire is, like. I'd be like, right. Oh yeah, no, it doesn't matter that you drop the auto ascender. It's not gonna work. They come up with another plan that also shouldn't work, but it's yeah, I thought that was weird. But then she gets stolen by one of the guys. They do a big fight scene. It's kind of dumb. It's the one guy who started naming them all Hollow Men. I don't know what happens with him. Like, how did he get down here?
Presumably, they shot him and threw him in the gorge like they did with the other guy at the beginning, and his corpse became a Hollow Man.
I was waiting for us to see that guy. That would have been an interesting reveal, right?
Well, we do see him, right?
Not guy.
Oh, the last guy.
Yes. Yeah, the last Miles Teller.
But that's the thing about him. They didn't do him over the gorge at all. They did him over the forest. Like, and it doesn't seem like. Right. I guess maybe they killed him while he's connected to the thing. So maybe they fly over the gorge and drop the body.
Sure.
But if you don't want shit getting out of the gorge, don't put more shit in the gorge.
Yeah, right.
It's not a garbage disposal. It converts guys into villains.
So they're still testing. It's weird too.
Yeah.
When they still want to see gorge results.
That's fair.
It's so fucking stupid.
And yeah, we will learn that the evil company has done Gorge and like created Gorge.
Yeah, because they've also been down in the gorge because they put a computer from within the past 20 years in there.
Yeah, right. And we'll get to that because that is maybe my favorite part of the movie, but not yet. Because first they have to go through the whole thing that's a guy. They got a big gooey guy. And it yells at them and stuff. That pit's kind of cool. And they find a Jeep. And they're like, "Oh, this can be the auto ascender. That's handy."
This is crazy, by the way. They
have powerful winches, and like very matter of factly. There's a certain point where I'm like, "Don't fall asleep in the Jeep, Miles Teller. You've only, put your fucking seatbelt on, dude, just in case one of those mines goes off that just randomly seems to happen every so often." But yeah, and then because this movie is a video game, it becomes one of those levels where shit's climbing up the thing and jumping on, and they have to do
classic
cool
elevator
murders.
Level.
Yep. including there's the bit, and this, man, I didn't watch this whole movie with Hannah because I watched this on my own, and then I was like, you gotta watch this movie, it's so dumb. When she was watching it, I caught her while she was watching this bit, and I watched it again, and they fight the guys on the big thing, on this Jeep that is hanging from the side of the gorge. And at a certain point, they're just like, fuck it, we've accidentally cut the propane that's in the back of this Jeep. Let's light it on fire with a thing, and then it'll explode all the guys. And I think when I saw this, Hannah was like, well, take it off the truck first.
Yeah.
Right? Like, but no, they don't. And then it explodes the whole thing, and it fucks it all up. And they both almost die. It's pretty funny. But, you know, they have a lot of skills. One of them isn't this planning,
Thinking.
you know, cool levels and stuff. Yeah. Because then they have to just like ascend the gorge by just climbing it, and they're pretty close. So I guess it's possible. Now the Hollow Men keep doing it. So what's stopping you? And they just get up to the top of the gorge, and they're like, pretty crazy day. All right, I'm going to go home.
Yeah, everything's fine.
They make another zip line situation, which I'm like, I'm not doing the zip line again, right?
We
So
should
shout anyone on the other side to secure it.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's fine. It's like a grappling gun, so it's like it's a video game at this point.
It's a video game, yeah.
We should mention one thing, and I'm sorry if I wasn't listening to the podcast to know that you guys said this already, but the Stray Dog Protocol.
Oh yeah, we did not
yeah.
say the Stray Dog Protocol.
So the Stray Dog Protocol is, so if anything escapes the gorge,
Or if the cloaking technology stops working.
That's right.
That's the more important part. And this is mentioned at the beginning when Miles Teller gets his brief, is that it will initiate the Stray Dog Protocol, which like drops a nuke that's in the bottom of the gorge to nuke the gorge, essentially. And there's like an air raid siren, and I guess, what was it, 4.2 kilometers was like the safe area or whatever.
That was the minimum distance to not get blasted.
Yeah.
And it's not just the minimum distance, it is exactly the minimum distance. Like 4.19 dead, 4.2 alive and fine, because one of them is like running as if there's a little line on this thing. You gotta get first down when the explosion happens. And, you know, they're really good at everything, so why wouldn't they be good at that?
So we'll just put a pin in that, but it's important that we learn about the Stray Dog Protocol.
I mean, I think we can talk about the Stray Dog Protocol when two characters escape the gorge. I'm pretty sure that means the Stray Dog Protocol. Wouldn't it automatically happen or something? Do we not have scanners? They get out. Like, I'm like, oh, you can't do that, though. You have to figure out a way around the thing, but nah, you can.
Well, apparently we do have scanners, Nando, because who to our wandering eyes should appear?
Oh, my God, my favorite. So they have to do another call. They have to call home, and then the guy who usually answers the call is like, hold for evil big boss or whatever, and it's Sigourney Weaver, Hillary Clinton Sigourney Weaver, by the way. I don't think we mentioned this, but just like Blue Beetle, they gave her the Hillary Clinton haircut. And listen, I haven't checked up on Hillary in a while, but if they put her in charge of Gorge and stuff, good for her, you know. Nice easy job, just recruiting guys, and then, well, I mean, unless things go really south. But then she's like, did you go into the gorge? And Miles Teller's like, no. And then she's like, did Anya Taylor Joy go into the gorge? He's like, absolutely not. And she's like, okay, just checking. And then you see her thing, and this is one of my favorite bits. You see she's looking at a computer, and it's just a dopey kind of video of them both looking at a computer of the webcam. And I'm like, that is what it would be. It's not like a security footage. It's just like,
well, then what does Sigourney Weaver tell him to do?
Right. She said you have to eliminate your counterpart.
Because there was some kind of breach or whatever.
We monitor the computer we put in the gorge, so we know someone went down there.
Right, yeah. And if it wasn't you, it must have been her. So
yeah. And because at one point this movie was probably a script about Cold War paranoia, she says that, but then immediately it's like, well, I'm not gonna do that though. Whatever. You know, it's fine. And the movie doesn't do it at all. Nope. But there's a second where I'm like, oh, is she going to come out of the gorge experience different? Like, is she going to have gotten some information from her guys? And then we're going to find out that, like, her dad's alive and they're torturing him or something. And she's got to go get him. And they, you know, they'll only free him if he she kills him, and we get a fight between them. But we just fully don't do that.
No, yeah, it could have been an interesting choice, but we're like, nah, because the movie's almost over, so we're just gonna coast.
We only have Sigourney Weaver for a couple more hours, so we probably got to just wrap this thing up.
Yeah,
and,
we got to get her to her second set.
Yeah. So they come up with Gorge plan, which they don't say at the moment, but you're like, oh, they're rigging something to explode. And plan this thing where it's like, we're gonna go, and then we'll meet each other if we're both alive and we have not been quarantined. Sigourney Weaver goes to the Gorge. And even the guy who's like the helicopter guy is like, you really want to go to the Gorge? And she says, this is my mistake. I got to clean it up or something. No, you don't.
What the fuck are you talking about? This is fucking crazy. Like, okay, I know that we live in a time where CEOs are taking matters into their own hands. See Elon Musk, but like, I don't know. He's hanging out at the White House, not going to a war zone. You're going to go to the Gorge, which is essentially a war zone given the circumstances, and be like, I'll take him out. You're going to take the sniper out with what? Are you secretly a sniper? The fuck are you talking about? Like, you're just going there to die.
It's a little known like responsibility of the CIA director. Anytime there's like someone who didn't follow orders or betrayed the country or whatever, he has to personally shoot them.
It's fucking nuts, man.
And also,
careful, Diggins. That don't give him any good ideas.
I have to assume that the Gorge is far from where she lives. You know, like I feel like if
they never say, but Miles Teller speculates it's somewhere remote in the northern hemisphere,
Siberia or something,
something like that.
Scandinavia, Yukon.
So if I'm her, I'm like, I gotta go I gotta finish my job and whatever. And if I'm like the vice president, I'm like, well, but do you not have responsibilities here? And it's like, well, she's a CEO, so the answer is no. She needed to play fucking Sound of War or whatever to get her character up to the top 5 percentile, I guess. But yeah, she just goes with him. She doesn't even have a gun. She's just there, like. And yeah, the top 2 snipers of the whole world that have been hired for this have to go, get killed, and maybe she'll kill them. But maybe they'll kill her. Who knows?
What?
We'll see. But and then they all fight and stuff. What did you think of this bit?
I mean, when by they fight, you mean a couple drones go after Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy while Sigourney Weaver gets to just stand there and not have to act too hard.
Yeah. This part is stupid because it's like, oh, we're going to send drones. And by the way, drones that like the design of these drones are awful. Maybe they're like hyper realistic, but it's like a minigun just attached to the bottom of a drone. Like the other drone, the scouting drone was from like fucking Jetsons. Like get a cooler one to kill.
And I'm like, if you were going to send the drones anyway, why'd you even come?
Why are you there? Yeah.
Yep.
Just to get the bodies or whatever. But I will say, I will give credit where credit is due. I think the only reason I like what the plan is, and the plan is they wired up mines to shoot them from afar to blow up the jammers, whatever they're called, to trigger Stray Dog. Like, I thought that was cool because it incorporated their sniperness, because they had to shoot very long range and then get to the 4.2 kilometer thing. I actually did like that.
It's one of the few things in the movie that relies on information we have received previously coming back.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of it, but it's cool that we did. That's a cute little payoff at the end we can talk about, but
No, that's true. And because they do that initiates the Stray Dog protocol because the cloaking is down. And then they just are like, fuck, we're going to die. Not they're like, we're going to die, but Sigourney Weaver's like, we're going to die.
Yeah, like we got to get the fuck out of here.
To die.
Why did we come here? What the fuck?
Yeah.
And, there's a nuke. Whatever. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
It's not worth getting angry about, but like, what's there.
You figure when you're her, you have a button that turns the nuke off or something, or there's a guy because you can get
you have the override.
Signals.
Yeah.
I do want to point out, or not point out, but at one point when they're fighting the big giant trucks, like the humongous, because I do like that the gunner thingies, the drones are humongous. You see a couple of them crash, and it's like, man, that's big. Miles Teller gets like bonked on the head with a big piece of like tree, And I'm like, oh, he's dead. Cool. Like, that's an interesting way to end this movie. It's just, and then he got killed by a tree, but he's fine. He limps around and stuff. And then, Sigourney Weaver explodes. Helicopters. It's not good.
Yeah. I have another whoosh. Boo, 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 boo. So again, I can't remember if we mentioned this, but the reason they're doing Gorge is because they want to make super soldiers, right? Like that's what they're hoping to be.
They're going to use the gene splicing technology that's in Gorge to make super soldiers somehow.
I'm just going to take a guess they're making no progress. Like,
well, I mean, I don't know how long this company has been controlling the Gorge, but it doesn't seem to have resulted in anything.
Yeah, like at some point you're like, you know what, just activate Stray Dog and let's end this thing, and we don't even care if we kill the two people, no loose ends. Let's just like cut this right now. Like, I don't know how much money they're spending on Gorge, it might be minimal, but at some point you just cut bait. Like, I don't think they're making any progress with Super Soldier.
I mean, you could probably get a tax break on the Gorge if you destroy it with your own Stray Dog protocol. I'm sorry, Warner Brothers can't make a Wonder Woman game, so okay, they just quit that. But these guys are like, see if Gorge really works out in the next 5 decades. Like, you out of your mind? There's no short-term benefit to Gorge. No business would want it. But also, yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where it's like super soldiers. That's what they're trying to make. But if you were me, but I feel like this is one of those things. And I'm like, maybe we were going to cure cancer with this though, right? Like Miles Teller, I get why you exploded it. It's evil. The guys running it are bad. But if they lied to him and we're doing cancer research down there, don't explode the Gorge.
Right.
I would be convinced.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
But
nearly there.
They don't even bother.
No.
And then they both quarantine. We don't really see what happened to Miles Teller. It seems like he died, but then he didn't die. And then they go meet at a restaurant and kiss.
This was so cheap, by the way. I just want to spend like 1 minute on this. So they're supposed to meet at a rendezvous in France. Anya Taylor-Joy is there. Miles Teller is not. She has a note. I don't know when she got it from him, but it's like, open if I don't make it at sunset. And
I think she gave it to him. Like, I think he gave it to her.
Yeah.
As he left.
Parted. Sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the poem, and she cries, and it's like sweet. But then, yeah, like next scene, he's at a restaurant she's working at, and they live happily ever after. The fuck are we doing? Have a nice romantic ending at the rendezvous. Have him say the poem to her. Like, or as she's reading the poem, she looks up and he's there. And he's like, I told you to wait. Or something. What the fuck? Did they shoot 2 endings and we're like, use them both? It's probably fine.
It's the thing that gets me about it is, no reason is ever given for why he does not show up at the rendezvous.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we're meant to think he died because he gets blown into the water and looks like he might be drowning or whatever when the bomb goes off.
4.1995 kilometers.
Yeah. It's just close enough.
But, like, if he got out of that, he would have had to have been right away because either he drowned right then or he didn't. And so, like, then there's 6 days before they're supposed to meet up. Why couldn't he make it?
Well, 5 days were isolation.
Yep.
So it really was like 1 day, I assume, to get to France, which isn't impossible. But like maybe he just missed his flight or something. I don't know. Probably hard to get there, considering he doesn't have a passport or anything anymore. Also,
by the way, she has a longer journey because she goes 4.2 kilometers east. But she ultimately has to go west.
Right.
So
well, do we know that is the orientation?
West Tower and East Tower, right?
I guess that's what they call them.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to assume, I'm going to take that at face value. So, right, like, she has
But do we know that they are currently east of Paris or France or whatever?
No, Diggins, we don't know that at all.
So maybe you're wrong.
Yeah, maybe this is in like Portugal or something. I don't know where they even could be. This is in the middle of London. It's some fucking, Sheffield
or it's like
or something.
in the Canadian wilderness and they just have to get on a plane.
Oh, they just gotta cross the Atlantic. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that would be what you'd do. It's like, I have 3 places we can meet depending on what continent we're on. So we're not going to have to go on a transcontinental flight at some point.
Also, how did they get on a plane? Like they're probably
I don't know.
Like
They're wanted and they don't have passports.
It's not the government.
But
they have to give the passports to the guy and their phone when they go in the
Yeah.
gorge. Like they have no identification anymore. You know what it is? They get on the fucking boat from whatever that movie was we saw kind of recently. I can't remember which one it is. Where the guy's like, no, I don't think it was Back in Action.
Because they had so many identities ready to go. It's like,
no, this was let's see,
I know what you're talking about when the guy gets on the boat and he's like,
and the guy's like, are you a like running away guy? And he's like, yeah, and he's like, okay, cool. Oh, no, is it Babylon? No, Swordfish.
Yeah,
Craven. No? This was a Craven plot
it's Craven.
Point. Yeah, he gets on that boat, and then the guy's like, you guys are both, you're a stray, right? Cool. Get on this boat and I'm gonna, I don't know, kidnap you probably. But that guy keeps accidentally getting the biggest badasses on his boat. And they force him to actually take them to a
that was the first human trafficker that Craven killed.
Yeah. It is pretty crazy to me that that neither of them get gorge madness or gorge disease or whatever.
They wanted the happiest ever after ending.
Yeah,
Anya Taylor-Joy got the poem and the man.
There must have been a script away.
Girls, get your poem and your man.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. It's a good yeah, it's a weird little ending. Do you think they'll make a second one? I do think this was kind of a hit, and it has to be so cheap if you stay out of the gorge for sure. But even if you're in the gorge, it's on the cheaper side.
I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know what a sequel to this would be because they already blew up the gorge.
Right. I figure a prequel to this and with like actual Cold War paranoia would be like a movie. But I don't care, because it's not these two. I like these two.
Right. Yeah.
I don't really like them that much, but I think that's the selling point for if you're a big Gorge fan. Exactly. It's not true. Both some of our finest Hollywood hunks and babes. But but yeah. So overall, weird little movie. But it was a hit, and
according to
what the people want. Yeah. And this is exactly the shit Apple loves too, like sci-fi stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how Apple has turned into the sci-fi one of these, but they did a great job.
Yeah.
It's because they got what's his name? The big muscle man, Khal Drogo.
Oh, for his the blindness show or
the show where he's blind but he has the son who can see.
That's right. Yeah. You're talking about Minecraft the movie, right?
That's right.
That's what that is.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Only like a month and a half away, guys.
I know.
This is gonna be huge.
It's gonna be a fun pod.
Yep. On my birthday.
Maybe another Cats level event. Who knows?
That could be a Cats level event. You guys want to get to our classic segment?
I would love that.
All right, DJ, let's recommend some things.
I'll go quick. This is going to be the worst aged classic segment rec of all time, but boy, did I enjoy Conclave. I watched Conclave last night.
Or the best aged.
Shut up. And I fucking loved it. Nando, I think you wrecked it, and Diggins, you probably did too.
Yeah.
I believe I wrecked it.
I liked it when I saw it, so probably.
It's a great movie. It's if you have Peacock, definitely watch it. Ray Fiennes' awesome performance. You know what? It makes parts of Catholicism interesting, and I like it because it doesn't make Catholicism totally gross, only a little gross.
Only the regular amount of gross.
Yeah, like the regular amount, but also the regular amount of cool. His homily is really cool, right? I don't want to say it.
Yeah,
that's homily
in context, but
a lot of Catholic priests are mad about that movie.
Shut up.
This seems like the newsroom of Catholicism, where it's like, written by one guy who's like, this is what it should be. And then real Catholicism is going to be very disappointing in a couple of weeks when Italian vaping Pope gets elected or whatever, conclave. We're getting one of those for sure. We'll be lucky if we get that guy.
Well, I liked it.
Good movie.
So I would definitely say check out Conclave. So that's my recommendation for this week. Probably more next week. Diggins, what about you?
Yeah,
I'm going to go real quick through a few myself. I've also been watching Oscars movies. So first I watched A Complete Unknown. It's a musician biopic, so it's not that good. But I will say, as far as those things go, it's no Bohemian Rhapsody. It's at least competently made, and like the performances are kind of fun.
Is he the Michael Jordan of acting? Is little Timmy Chalamet?
More and more people are saying that. Timothée Chalamet, the Michael Jordan of acting. But no, it's decent. It still has all the same problems. It's kind of aimless and overindulgent, and like has multiple scenes where a guy's like, "Hey, I'm in this scene now," and someone's like, "What's your name?" And he looks in the camera and is like, "This guy who did stuff with Bob Dylan."
Yeah.
But I don't know who any of these people are because I don't know anything about Bob Dylan. So I'm just like, I guess that's someone. But as far as those things go, it's like at least a decent one of those instead of a really bad one.
Yeah, the Dylan heads seem to really like it, from what I understand.
My mom's
but
Dylan
I am
head,
not
she really
one of them.
it, so I trust her opinion with this shit.
I also watched I'm Still Here, the Brazilian movie about a woman who is sort of like dealing with and trying to get answers / justice for her husband who gets disappeared by the Brazilian military dictatorship of the 70s.
Oh, that sounds like an interesting movie.
It is. It's
too bad
good.
It's hard to find, you know.
I went to a movie theater.
Yeah, well, and you live in like New York City, which is like, you know, galore.
True. It's a biopic, by the way. This is based on a real thing that happened. And,
okay.
Like, they use the real people's names and everything.
Oh, nice.
So that one's pretty good. I felt like I feel like it kind of like sneaks up on you at the end, where it's sort of like it does some things towards the end where it sort of like really hits you, just like how much this whole thing affected their family, and like even, you know, getting what you can for answers and justice from it, it still creates this hole. And that, you know, dictatorships are bad.
Yeah, it's true.
Wow. Can't believe you'd say that on a podcast.
Yeah, come
right?
on.
And then my third and final rec. People hate when we do this, but I'm wrecking a Broadway show. I saw Maybe Happy Ending.
Okay. Oh, is that any good?
It was really good. It's very lovely.
He's wrecking it.
Nice.
The production is really cool. Like they do a lot of things with like the staging, and they have this kind of like growing, shrinking curtain thing to like change the focus in different scenes. It's really technically impressive and also just like a good, fun show.
Is it the same leads as when it started, or have they changed leads yet?
When it started on Broadway, yes. It's still Darren Criss and Helen J. Shen.
Oh, nice.
It's not the people who did it in South Korea.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And if you don't know, Maybe Happy Ending is a musical play about these two like helper robots who've been retired. Like they don't work anymore. They're just sort of in the factory, like just rusting away, who sort of meet and develop this relationship. And it's really cute. And I enjoyed it a lot. What about you, Nando? Anything to rec?
Also Tight 90.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Am I looking at the wrong thing? All right, never mind. Keep going.
It might say that online. It is more than 100 minutes long.
Okay. No. All right. It's a one-act musical.
It is a one-act.
No intermission. Yeah, that's always nice.
All right.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I was thinking about maybe trying to go see that, so maybe I will now. What else was I gonna say? Okay, so for me, I want to rec one thing, but it's gonna be really vague. Because I'll rec two things. First of all, I went to the new premiere for the new season of Jet Lag show on Nebula. I like Jet Lag. I'm not a big travel guy, so it's never been like my favorite show, but I think it's fun and well made and nice. And good. Tom Scott is on it this season. Tom Scott's funny. I like him, and he's one of those guys who's like one of those like OG YouTuber guys. Also, Nebula has a new show called Abolish Everything, which I kind of love. It's kind of like, it feels like something that would be on Dropout. It's a stand-up show where everybody makes a presentation about a thing they want to get rid of, and then there's a panel of experts that judges it, and it's silly. The first episode's a good explanation of what it is, but if you guys have Nebula, which I assume at least some of you guys do, check that out. It's new, and I would say it's unlike most of the Nebula content. So if you're like not into documentary, if not in a documentary mood, you want something a little more digestible, Jet Lag obviously, and then this is very good. And there's one episode out. There's gonna be, I think, 4 or something like that. I don't know that. Actually, that's probably not true, but I know there's like a couple, so that will be a thing. And everybody bug them so that they put me on it so I can have them abolish something I don't like, even though the first woman that goes after my own heart, I don't remember her name, but did an abolish speakerphone spit, and I loved it. I was standing up and cheering in my seat at home when I watch it. But the thing that I want to rec is a show. My sister recommended it to me a week ago. I didn't watch it. And then she recommended it to me again. And I was like, you know what? I got time. And the way she recommends it to me is like, you think you know what it is. And it kind of is that. But then it's something else. And that makes it way more interesting. But you can't say what that is. Because that kind of takes a lot of the fun out of it. So the show is called Paradise. I don't know if it's on a network, but it's definitely on Hulu. It's one of the new Hulu shows. It stars Sterling K. Brown as a Secret Service agent, and Cheekbones, whatever the fuck his name is, Sonic the Hedgehog's dad, Donut Lord, James Marsden, yeah, plays the president. A kind of, I would say like a Kennedy figure, who is kind of like handsome and beloved and installed by his shitty father. But overall, a complicated man who in the first episode of the show gets murdered. Now there's a lot of flashbacks, so it's not like there's no, there's plenty of him in the show. But like, it's like, oh my God, who killed him? Was it the Secret Service agent? Was it a bunch of other people who are kind of involved in the conspiracy? And you're like, sure, that's kind of interesting. And I really do believe like the drop in at the end of episode 1 is pretty wild. And the show goes in a direction that I think is very interesting. I would say, so I believe there's 7 episodes out now, maybe 8. I'm not sure what the season is. We're on like 5 or 6 because we're taking our time with it. I think episode 7 is going to be the big one from what I've heard. And if you know what that is, you probably like try not to find out anything about this show. So like avoid that. Only other thing, speaking of shows, obviously Severance, huge this week. Episode 7, great, probably the best episode of the season, and just like insane. And then Invincible, episode 6, I think. I can't remember what number it was, but the Powerplex episode was one that I've kind of been waiting for as someone who kind of knows what's going on in Invincible. So that was fun. And I think we're gonna get some pretty crazy ones, Invincibles, in the next couple weeks. So a lot of good TV. Daredevil's getting good reviews. We're excited about that. And White Lotus is kind of good, maybe, or it's bad. I don't know. I can never tell which one. Is it a show that is good, or is it hot? Like, is it just the prettiest show on television? And I just think it's smart because, like, have you guys ever watched it?
No.
Like White Lotus? It's like loading screens of just like beautiful vistas and cool shallow focus, like a monkey and then a guy in the background and stuff.
The main thing I've heard from people who have watched it is like, man, I want to go to Thailand.
I don't want to go. That's just the first one where I'm like, I don't think I want to go there, but only because of the monkeys. I don't know if I could do that. But definitely the Italy one or wherever they were, that one was like, man, that place looks gorgeous. And like Hawaii, I don't think anybody needs to be convinced, especially Americans, to go to our one place that's cool looking and different. But anyway, yeah. So White Lotus is fun. But I would say Paradise is my big rec for this week. Yeah, it's very good. Actually, that's true. That's not true. I don't know if it's very good. It might be stupid, but it's entertaining, and I appreciate that. What are we doing next week? Did we discuss this yet?
Debt or...
Yeah, I don't think we know.
Debt or maybe Flight Risk. It's a couple of movies that came to VOD. Love Hurts. Presence, I think, is on VOD now, although I don't think Presence will be that interesting, but maybe Love Hurts.
Maybe Flight Risk.
Yeah, maybe Flight Risk.
And Mark Wahlberg. He's going to come kill me.
Yeah. And he's bald, so I've got to see the mystery.
Which is a brave thing to be, if you ask me.
Apparently, yeah. DJ, do you have anything to plug?
Just check out Roses and Rejections. We're getting through all the good stuff. It's so busy. We got fucking Bachelor and Traitors and Love is Blind. So much going on. Traitors season finale next week. Holy shit, cannot wait.
I want to say I don't love Love is Blind. I do think overall this season may be less exciting, but I still think there are some things in this season that I think are pretty weird.
I'm pretty confident they're all going to make it, or at least 4 of the 5 will make it to the altar, and that will make it interesting.
You know what? That's true. There's except for one that's obviously going to break up. Yeah, the other ones seem somewhat stable,
and that will help make it interesting. I think more altar reveals will be better.
But I also, I think there's going to be a lot of go through with it altercations, as
and that will be cool.
That will be fun.
That will be cool. So yeah.
The one that who's your favorite? Do you have a favorite couple?
It has to default to oh my god, it's I still think Ben might be not Ben. I still think Daniel might be a creep.
Yeah, he's secret creep, but they
You know
gave
what's
up.
crazy? The only ones I trust are Joey and Monica. The
Yep.
only ones I trust. So
Wow, that's a weird pairing from Friends.
I know, it's so
it
funny.
comes up a bunch. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. They're the one that I feel like will probably either go through
Yeah.
with it because they're actually in love, or because they're dumb enough to go with it for like they can be tricked. But
Those are the only two I trust.
That it would be a very Joey thing.
that would be a very
it's
Joey
true.
thing.
Everyone else is way too sus. So,
But yeah, I love the guy that's a creep. I love my favorite character on the show is his girlfriend for sure. In the pods they're dating, she's raspy voice, right? Like she had a raspy voice for a while.
Taylor.
She has my favorite. Wait, did I say this? What my favorite line is in the whole show?
I'm not sure.
She's saying, I don't remember when I watched this. It might have been like this those last couple of days. She's like, I got a tattoo of Taco Bell. I love Taco Bell so much. And because this is the pods and they all just agree with each other, he's like, oh man, I want to get a Taco Bell tattoo. That's so cool. And in her like very, because she has like a, sore throat or something. Yeah, it's real bad. Like she recovers, but it sounds pretty serious, but it kind of sounds like she's crying. She's not. But she says a very earnest, like, no, I want you to get a tattoo of a fast food you like. And I'm like, that's like the sweetest little weirdest thing. And he's like, Chick-fil-A. And I'm like, oh, that's the only wrong answer, sir. Yeah. This week, by the way, because you haven't seen TJ,
not yet. I'm not correct.
Really strange, very frank conversations about politics where characters are like, who did you vote for? And the other one's like, I don't know if I voted this last one. And so I
Ben,
love.
right? It has to be Ben.
It and the one Van Forehead, I can't remember his name. Basketball guy.
Fuck. Nope. I'm not. Devin.
Yeah, he has no personality. So it's really hard to remember things about him. Yeah, he just likes basketball.
Sentient. That's it.
Yep. But yeah, so I am very into this season. Yeah.
So check that out. Roasted Rejections on the Pop Break podcast network. Diggins, anything to plug?
Nope. What about you, Nando?
Videos. My Avengers Pet video is going to come out today, probably, which means my next video, and I don't know what it's called, but something like I don't know. I had a word that I liked for this, bizarre or something, but bizarre wasn't right. Something presidencies of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, just going over the fictional presidents and real ones that seemed to exist in the MCU and why they're all terrible. Trying to figure out some party stuff, although I do think it's impossible to really get anything out of that. Because as people pointed out, like Trump had big blue signs too. So like that stuff is, and all of their policies are just, I want to stop aliens from killing all of you. So that doesn't, translate really specifically to anything. The only thing we get is Matthew Ellis, one of the presidents, covered up an oil tanker spill, which 20 years ago, I'd be like, that's a Republican. But now I'm like, I don't know. Charisma, whatever. I don't know, man. They're all so corrupt. It's weird. You just can't vote for, they're all crooks.
All the same.
Yep. All the same. Horseshoe theory or whatever. That's not what that is. But either way, no, don't vote for Republicans. They're bad. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So that video will be on Nebula. And besides that, probably a Daredevil review when that episode drops. Very excited for that. Until next week, when we're probably doing Flight Risk, I've been at Nando View Movies on Bluesky.
I'm at To Be By Day on all platforms.
I'm at C Diggins exclusively on Bluesky.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Bye. We love you.